WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
Wow. You would think that this is a fucking Monday the way things are going today. What's going on, WTF Nation? Holy crap. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence this 21 March 2019. Welcome to Sergeant's Time. We got Ice, myself, and in the gunner seat, we got Spinky.
That's me.
Dude, I don't know what's going on with freaking Facebook, but I'm telling you what, we need to find another fucking platform to platform our platform of platforming. Unfreaking real. I cannot believe this is happening. Unreal. Unfreaking weird. Exactly. What? Thank you guys for sharing us and liking us in the Mixer chat. I kind of like it inside the Mixer boundaries anyways, because we don't have to worry about some of the limitations that Facebook is doing. Not a big deal. So I'm contacting the tech geek. So let me explain to you what happens. Facebook decided to create a non what's called a deprecated. So deprecated servers are now being changed to use RTMPS. So the encoder situation dealios there have to make sure that the secure servers are set up. Well, with that being happening, it throws all of Facebook out of whack when it comes to broadcasting the way. So pretty much this is probably going to affect a lot of individuals that use Facebook live to broadcast off of their shit. If you're not caught up in that stuff, then it'll just catch you by surprise when you start doing it. So doing normal startup sequences and all that, things are going up, broadcasting up, and I'm thinking, okay, we're all green across the screen, TGTs are all green, going into the ambers, and the next thing you know, what do we see? I totally felt like a fucking you ever saw Men in Black? Earl?
It's been a minute, but yes.
Yeah, and so on Men in Black, the guy the roach comes down and takes over Edgar, and he starts walking off. One of the characters played by Vincent D'Onofrio, and he is the way his mannerisms and his characters are. So as soon as I hit all green, or thought I was hitting all green, and nothing came up, I was like, a radio's supposed to be coming on right now. Radio. Means worlds to me, but it's not working. It's dead. That's what I feel like fucking Edgar. And we got a guest tonight. We got Lou Fernandez from CONUS Battle Drills coming back on to shoot the shit, hanging out. It's okay, man. We're broadcasting on, on them shits with the Facebook. I mean, not the Facebook Live, the website. Everything should be rocking and rolling. It's YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, and a drama for your mama that is causing us the drama on Twitter. So we're just gonna sit here and chill out, hang out, and there you go. That's it. So that's the deal. I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to play today that was gonna require the sounds of and special effects of, but you know what? Shit happens. Oh well. So yeah, really exactly. Babe. Go Facebook. Yeah. I don't understand this. How are you supposed to get all my sensitive information, Facebook, if you don't allow us to broadcast on Facebook Live? How are we supposed to engage the world? And yeah, exactly. Even Baby Ice is pissed off because he can't hear me. He can't hear me.
A lot to say.
Yeah, he is pissed as well. Had a lot of stuff to talk about. I wanted to have some. I had some fucking slides and arts and crafts to do, and given specific assignments to individuals. But of course, that did not happen. That's right. I know. You can't fucking. You want to do another skit? We can do another skit, buddy. Unreal. So I apologize. I apologize for not giving you the quality show that we always are doing. However, I'm not apologizing for Facebook. Fuck them joints. Well, thank you. Twitter. Thank you so much, guys. Use MySpace. You know, MySpace, believe it or not, there was an issue going on. They've lost over 6 million files of music that was uploaded and remixed and done by the fans.
Oh, I thought they said they lost all the pictures and stuff.
Yeah, they lost everything. They lost everything. That was like the other mother of plethora of dick pics and all that stuff on Facebook. Was that, for you guys don't know that Facebook? Some of you were probably not even around. This was before MySpace. This was before Facebook. So some of you were probably let's go back in 2004, 2003 when it was really hitting the prominence.
Because I couldn't log into mine anymore to go delete all that stuff myself.
Right.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Whoever fucked that up.
Yeah, whoever messed it up. Yeah. Everyone's talking about Facebook. MySpace is so dead. Blah 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 blah. It's so fucked up. Blah blah blah. Facebook bought MySpace for like I think $1 billion or $1.5 billion or something like that back in the day. So the guy, what's his name? What was the guy's name? The cheesy looking dude.
Tom.
Tom, yeah. Tom was the guy who made off like a fat rat. There's also another video platform we're looking into. It's called MeWe. If you guys looked at it, mewe.com. If you guys look, there's already a shadow WTF Nation Radio account already up there on that social media platform. It is all you can say, all you want, and whatever. And once that platform is getting figured out and all that, that's another platform we're going to attack and give you guys a sneak peek. Give you guys a sneak peek of what's going on. Because I am tired of this Facebook shit. I am tired. I don't care if if we're using your information. Here's the way I see it. If Facebook is allowed to have all my information, all my titty pics, dick pics, all the stuff that everyone's deep down dark secrets are involved, then you should allow me to say what the fuck you want. You should let us know, at least the people who run pay. I'm ran on fucking Facebook. I'm pissed.
Tell them how you really feel.
Oh, man. Oh, a man walks in. Tom means worlds to me. He canceled MySpace and dropped 6 million views. But no, all those accounts and stuff. I mean, basically, MySpace was the precursor to teach you how to code.
It was. You can get in there and like change your backgrounds and add your music, and we didn't appreciate Tom when we had him.
No, we did not. It's the little things in life that you miss until you realize that they're gone.
Like letting your best friends know who your top 8 were.
I know. Yeah, who your top 8? Who your top 8 friends? That was worse than having a friends list. Imagine if Facebook could place your friends category. I'm going on a fucking rant right now for Sarge's time. We got a lot of we were going to talk about a lot of stuff, but I can't throw no slides. But I can't put dirty music on. So the music that we're not supposed to play on fucking Facebook, guess what? Tech 9 is coming back on the shits. That's what I'm talking about. What was I going to say? Oh yeah,
Facebook list your friends in order.
In order. So the ones that you thought was like could you imagine with the way fucking people are right now with Facebook?
Oh,
how fucking drama.
I like you today.
Oh yeah, how fucking drama queens people would. Oh man, think about that. Think about the people on your friends list right now, and you were like racking and stacking like an NCOER. You know what I mean? Like you were.
Your top block today.
Your top block, yeah. You're enumerating your fucking friends. That's what fucking MySpace did. There was no feelings. There was no drama, and if you didn't like it, and you became a bitch about it, it got blasted to everybody. There was no hiding of a friend list. There was no blocking anybody. Everybody fucking knew, and then you got a song attached to you.
Mine for so long was I hate everything about you by
Yeah.
Gates Grace.
Everybody had them shits. At least exactly that, Doc. At least fucking Tom didn't fucking censor. Tom didn't censor at all. Nuts on fucking Facebook. How about that? Now I'm pissed because I got I got Lou Fernandez coming on here, man, shooting the shit with us, talking about some stuff. It's unfucking real. Unfreaking real. Thank you, Stefan. Well, Chewy, plug the professor to the hyperdrive for giving us that piece of information. Thank you, Stefan. Vielen Dank. Viel Gruß. Dankeschön. Dude, man. Unreal. Unfreaking real. Sorry, Tom. I will never, ever talk shit about you again. Ever. Ever will I ever talk about, ever. I'm sorry. I can't believe this is happening. Can't believe we're subjugated. So, real quick, you're going to get all your information taken from you and also the shit. And then because of that, you paid your penance and all this other stuff with all your information and all your details and all your pics. And the next thing you know, they're going to get your information, sell it to you to include earplugs and then, or baby stuff or whatever, vitamins or CBD oils or shit like that on your timeline and ads placed on your time. And then they are going to mute you and they're going to tell you what you can and cannot post. But not Tom. Tom. Miss you, man. I really wish you coming back on here to shoot the shit. Unfucking real. Unreal. This is bullshit. This is straight bullshit. I was ready for some fun tonight. Well, as a matter of fact, since we're on Mixer and shit, I mean, Mixer's not really gonna get mad if we play this stuff because Mixer's pretty cool. That community on Mixer's pretty good. I kind of like the fact that how they've treated us in the I don't know. It's kind of cool. Mixer community's been really good with us. We appreciate you guys on Mixer. You know what? You guys have been totally loyal as well. And then think about it, the fan guys on the Mixer guys and gals have been hanging out. Cool as shit. They loved it. Fuck. No drama. No. Yep, I'm currently right now. I am loading up my dirty music that I'm going to play on here.
So dirty.
Oh man, it's dirty. It's dirty music. That one time I played Ice-T, institutionalized. No, I can't. I want to play Xbox. I think you lost your mind. Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. So yeah. I mean, shit, dude. This is awesome. I might play some fucking, Busta Rhymes or some shit. You never know. It's an atrocity. It's very much exactly that. It's an atrocity. It's an atrocity the fact that we have to suffer this. Had to deal with this drama. Unreal. I don't know what to say. Let's see. All right, I got the word from the Geek Squad. Stand by. Und ja, let's wait a second to see what's happening with this Geek Squad and see what it's going to do. Yes.
I love those Geek Squad people.
Und the Geek Squad's people is. Let me see. Let me go ahead and communicate. Let me see. Anyways, real quick. So we got a guest coming on, 2100, in about 20 minutes and stuff like that. So he'll be coming on. Lou Fernandez is going to from CONUS Battle Drills, talking about what he's been up to from the last time he's been on. It's been about a year since he's been hanging out with us. I guess.
Yeah, it's been a little over a year. He was on the show with Jay Reddy the last time.
That's who it was on. That's right. But I'm just kind of like looking to see what he's got to talk about. Me and him chatted before on Twitter back and forth. And I think he's gonna come on here, and we're gonna go back and forth. We always have good conversations about veterans and their statuses and stuff and shit like that. So it's good stuff to the brain. It's good brain preparation. All that people like to say about That's what we need to do for veterans. We know this is some of the stuff that will keep you peace of mind type shit for you out there transitioning out of the military. Lose pretty squared. Yeah, exactly. He's freaking lose pretty squared away on that stuff. His mentality, of course, is that if we're all stone cold killers, then we need to act like it in life. Can't wait. It's like big bromance and shit when he comes on. Last time he was on the J Radio, I thought it was fun. It was good stuff. But let me see. Oh, Geek Squad's like, oh, okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Warning. We're going to activate something. Let me see. No, it's not censored. It's not censored. Let's see. Let me see. Where is it at? Let me see. Okay. Uh-oh. Let's see what's happening. It's according to the grid. We have everything up. Oh my god, if this works out, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. If the Geek Squad have pulled this out, then it'll be impressive. Most impressive.
Hey, we tried coconut oil. I just want to throw that out there because that's my solution to everything that doesn't work.
Essential oils, right? That's what I'm hearing. It's like essential oils and shit.
No, just coconut oil, the one and only true oil.
Yeah. No, nothing on the coconut oil there. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, was I supposed to turn on that voice?
Yeah, it's time for welcome to Sergeant's Time. You guys want to listen to some Sergeant's Time? I can melt some holes.
Oh my god, I couldn't even keep a straight voice.
Oh man. Oh, looks like we got something up. Damn it, I have to change my music. Holy crap. Oh. Don't tell me this worked. Don't tell me this worked. Oh lordy.
1-900 Sergeant's Time.
Welcome to Sergeant's Time. Tonight, we're going to have Lou Fernandez joining us. Lou Fernandez is the proprietor and the owner of CONUS Battle Drills, giving you the peace of mind as a veteran exiting out of service. Oh, holy shit, it's up! Ah! Everybody quick. A man came in. A sergeant man. Means worlds to me. If you guys go ahead and give me a minute, I will put it on fucking Facebook Live in approximately a few minutes, and we will see it. You'll see it light up. And so again, thank you for joining us right now on the Mixer shits. So hang on. Ooh, this is awesome. Ooh, I see. There appears to be. So now all you guys that want to go ahead and throw your flirts and stuff in the other fucking chats, it's going to be coming from WTF Nation Radio, but it will be shared on U.S. Army WTF Moments. It will not be an organic post, just like WTF Moments. So you guys will be able to see us on here, and then you can go back to the dumpster fire / trailer park that is known as fucking Facebook. So, anyways, and bam, let's see. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Live, rocking and rolling. Hail yizzle. Okay. Man, that was close. That was, I don't know what to do. That was insane. So if you guys join us right now, yeah, we were hanging out and talking all dirty in the Mixer chat, and because we have
there's no Zuck there.
Because there's no Zuck there, and so we were talking about some stuff in the Mixer chat because we were having some defunctness of the funk, because we're all about the funk, and so we will go ahead and here. Let me hang on. Let me go ahead and prop you guys up on U.S. Army WTF Moments. And then, bam, there we go. So if you guys have checked that out and shared it on the main page already now, if you're looking, it is already shared and good to hook on. So you're going to have to click on that. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to go to WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page. Damn, I got to delete all that dirty music I was going to play.
I mean, that's the only downside. We got it up and running. Yay, Geek Squad people.
Thanks, Geek Squad.
You turned it off and turned it back on, rub the coconut oil on it, whatever magic that you do.
Essential oils and stuff like that. Thank you. We appreciate that. Totally. Oh, man, that's so freaking odd. That's so odd how that worked out. So, we're going to have to, we have to play with the squirrels. Well, shit.
Fed squirrels. In time for the guest that's coming on.
Yeah, in time for the guests as well. So,
yay.
God, I just can't freaking. You guys don't have to worry about hanging out on a mixer if you don't want to. Whatever.
You can do both. Oh, yay. There, that was my clap for the essential oils.
Oh, man. Oh, you're staying there? That's cool. If y'all want to stay there, you can stay there. That's no big deal. No big deal. Y'all can stay on Facebook. Y'all can stay on Mixer. Anyways, God, I'm pissed off about this shit, man. It just gets me the ass because it all of a sudden they just did it without nobody telling us. You know what I mean? They're just like, we're not gonna have any, we're not going to tell you guys that we're changing all the channels and signals and stuff like that. Man, whatever. It freaking gives me the ass.
Okay. Deep breaths. Calm baby ice down, too. Let him know everything's working.
Right, yeah. It's up, kid. We're good to go, man. Rocking and rolling. We'll be hanging out here. So, but I just might as well, might as well fucking, let's get down. I mean, So today, what were we going to talk about? We were gonna rock on a good story, big time about some shit that people got their feelings hurt about, and so now we're not going to talk about that until after the guest comes on, because that's mo better. I mean, we're gonna have to do it that way, and that way the guest can
go up and everything else.
Oh, the beef prices.
Beef. Yeah, beef. What's for dinner?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn. Oh, it's straight up. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's that beef.
No, it's seriously.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. No, okay, I should not fucking talk shit like that. That's messed up.
No, it's okay. No,
but there is a flood. There were some floods happening. And they're stranding a bunch of cattle and all that, and they were trying to get them fed. So they can't get them fed. So the Nebraska National Guard teed up and provided a couple of hookers, Chinook helicopters, CH-47 helicopters, to fly in bales of hay to strand it. And that's what I'm talking about. You guys saw that on the main page. You would have been able to check it out. That is the shit. So,
yes, we all like to talk crap about the National Guard and Reserve because that's what we do. It's like sibling rivalry. But, this is, what they do.
Right. I was already see some comments on the fucking main page about the echo chamber. Man, shut up. You guys are the echo chamber. You guys are just like... Sorry, your feelings were touched. We didn't mean that. Tell us where your feelings were hurt, and we'll get back with you. But yeah, dude, and just freaking. I just think it's awesome that our National Guard, peeps, did that, and it's good shit. You can go ahead and check it out on the main page, and check it out. Check it. I think it's pretty impressive. I did not know. I mean, I know me and Radar were talking that there was some serious flooding issues. I guess there was more flooding issues, and supposedly it's supposed to still continue happening. It sucks. It totally fucking sucks that we are not even focusing. It just makes it sound like, oh yeah, which goes to show that there is. And you want to talk about echo chamber? Then I'll say this: why is it the fact? And we're going on Twitter now. We're broadcasting live on Twitter currently as we speak through Periscope. Thank you. It's up too. God, that's what I'm talking. Geek Squad is on fire. They took the training wheels off tonight. That's what I'm talking about. But you don't think there's some like big deal? No one's talking about the rural shit. Guaranteed, if this happened on any of the coasts and it affected some large cities, I don't know, like wildfires and something like that, then it'd have been a big deal. But these are this is like the breadbasket. This is like middle America, right? This is
right. It's where like most of our nation's food that doesn't get imported comes from.
Oh, that's a good point. For the first time ever, I think China is the first time they've ever had rice imported. Listen to how that sounds. Rice being imported into China. Rice being imported to China. That's like saying ice is being imported to Eskimos.
Right. Like, get it out of my freezer. And make an igloo from there.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, man. What's going on in the feed? Yep, I know. Then the feed's all wonk to bunks. It's crazy, unreal. We don't know what's going on. We're trying to fix it. And I'm sure once we get that done, then we'll be ready to go. And we're just trying to get you guys straight and all that stuff. But anyways, yeah. So there's CH-47 helicopters that were provided to from the Nebraska National Guard, and we're able to fly in bales of hay. If you guys saw the pictures of the main page, it looked funny as hell due to the fact that you would rarely see anything like that. I don't think anybody's ever seen a Chinook fly in that bale. Of course, everyone's already making the dependent comments. Those are the yeah. Of course, they're gonna make the dependent comments and all that stuff. Go ahead.
Right.
No, actually, yeah. So again, it's one of those things to where it's good to see that the military, even though it's the National Guard, like you were saying about sibling rivalry. It is awesome. Totally like it. Totes.
Because I'm originally from South Dakota. My family lives up there, and I have family in Nebraska as well too. And I was telling my mother because she wanted me to come home for spring break. My kids' spring break, and I'm like, no, it might snow. Sure as shit, it did. And not just that it snowed up there. It was all the roads, like every which way I go, like when I drive home, are washed out. I was like, and I was telling my kid, I was like, I'm really glad we didn't go because I would have had to drive like all the way around, like probably a good extra 12 to 15 hours out of my way, even if to get out of the blizzard, and out of the snow, like, because every way I've gone is through Nebraska. None of those roads are there. Like, at least it's some way, bridges are washed out, flooded out. All of those towns I've driven through probably a good 50 times throughout my career going back and forth home. And it's insane. Like, looking at this on the map, like, I've driven through that town. I've gotten a speeding ticket in that town. I think I'm, like, sponsoring this town, how many times I've paid a ticket in this town. It's just crazy. I just can't imagine, like, it's been my halfway point at so many times, like leaving Texas and going that way, these tiny towns they're just not there anymore. And that's all it is, farm town and ranches. I don't know. I just can't imagine how they're all going to recover from it. And I'm sure that some of these towns just won't.
Yeah, I don't think they will. It's going to be a while. I know, like I said, we talked about Offutt Air Force Base being the Missouri River being completely flooded up on there. And they couldn't.
And it is right on the river.
Right. They couldn't even get the fucking. It was a livestock training sling load ops. Didn't want to assume guy. No. None of them were qualified. I think. I think the Chinook just flew over and was rolling that bale of hay out the back of that thing. But yeah, I was just like, damn. But my biggest thing is one of those things where I kind of like, hey, you don't freaking you don't fucking talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about the damn news about that shit. Then what the hell?
I know it's been this how long, and it's just finally starting to make more national news.
Right.
I don't get it. It's about time is the way I look at it.
Right. Exactly.
But I guess all the people on the coast, when they start having to pay even higher fucking prices, that's when they'll start bitching about it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And then it'll make news.
How come my steak costs so much?
Yeah. Now my gas is high and my steak.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
All them goddamn red states in the middle are making my beef cost too much.
But they don't eat it though.
Right. That maybe. Hey, well, their fucking vegetables and shit or grain are grown there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Too funny.
I'll stop my bitching.
Too funny. Too funny. No, we're just burning time until the guests, is about ready to show up. So
we don't have time to get on another rant.
We don't have time to get on another rant. It's like fucked up. That is like fucked up. Yeah, there. Let me see what else is going on. Nice picture. If you guys look on the Smithsonian Porta Johns Museum, you can see the
very patriotic one.
Very patriotic penis. Can you say that 5 times fast? Very patriotic penis. Can we say that with people? People are gonna get upset with us now. You guys are saying that on WTF Radio. You guys will shut up. Whatever, man. Whatever. But anyways, we're gonna take a break. God dang it! I wanted to play my music that we couldn't play on the dealio here. So yeah, we're gonna take a break, and and we'll be right back. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
the start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know I'm breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier. Green beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. You pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media betrayed me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe. And like you see, I see. And like you need, I need. And like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with our guest, Lou Fernandez. ¿Qué pasó, man?
¿Qué pasó, amigo? ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. Nomás siempre proyectando en este trabajo. Anyways, at any rate.
you know, I was going to ask for the sexy voice introduction, but I feel like that was probably okay too.
We can do some fist bumps and orales and all that stuff. We're good, right?
Yeah.
Welcome back, man. Long time no hear.
Yeah, it's been a while, right? I think about a year.
Yeah, just about a year. So tell. I mean, we know who you are, but tell the WTF Nation, what you've been up to, who you are first. And
sure.
Then what CONUS Battle Drills is about first, after that.
Yeah. Okay. So Luis Fernandez, I'm a former Army officer. I was in the 82nd for a while, then did some counter WMD intel stuff. Got out in about 2012. Went to work for a Fortune 100 company and realized that I was not prepared to get out of the military. Made a shit ton of mistakes. And then, after a few years, kind of felt like I'd recovered from some of those things. And CONUS Battle Drills was kind of birthed out of a comment. One of my Facebook buddies was complaining about not being able to find a job, an Army buddy. And I talked to him a little bit, and he was really focused on like this. He had to work in this one small town. And I started off like kind of just, hey, these questions that I get a lot from guys, and what started like a Facebook rant turned into a book of, here's all the things that I learned, and some things that can, don't make these same mistakes kind of. So that was like 2016. I think I published that, sent it to a few publishers. Nobody was interested. So I said, screw it, did it myself. Got it out there, started the page to just kind of continue the conversation, website, blog, all that stuff. Really it's about, one is having a good time, and being entertaining, that kind of stuff. And then also giving, valuable content and feedback on, what mistakes to avoid, how to prepare yourself, how to be ready, that kind of stuff. Really kind of the main thing I talk about and I try to bring up is always the 4 big questions when you're getting ready to get out. Number 1, are you financially ready? Number 2, do you know why you're getting out? 3, do you know where you want to live? And 4, do you know what you want to do? And, those kind of questions and obviously there's a lot of information behind each of those, but once you kind of start working on answering those questions, you start to develop a transition plan. Are you one of those guys that got caught out there on Bragg Boulevard and bought yourself the new Camaro at 19% interest? Take care of some of that debt before you get out of the military. Well, you get that, solid, steady income, and talk a lot about, what your pay is going to look like, when you get out of the military and you got to start covering your healthcare costs and that kind of stuff. That's another. So a lot of financial stress. That was my personal thing. And I see it a lot of guys that, they're just, when you have BAH and you have your healthcare covered, those are 2 major expenses that you're going to have to cover within your paycheck when you get out. And a lot of guys don't plan for that. And then, the why, like if you just don't like your command climate, or, another one I've seen is, and my wife really wanted me to get out, and so they got out to save their marriage, and it doesn't end up working out in the end because they end up resenting the wife because they still wanted to be in. And, location wise, if you want to live in a small town, your job prospects are going to be a lot harder. So, the more geographically limited you're going to be, the harder it's going to be to find a job. And then what you want to do, a lot of guys think, well, I've been whatever your MOS is. And so I'm going to try and find a job that meets my MOS. Like, if you don't like your MOS, you don't have to do that when you get out. You can do whatever you want. So, I mean, that's the basic elevator speech, I guess. The 5-minute elevator speech.
Yeah. So how long were you in the Army?
7 years. So I started, my first day was actually June 6, 2004, which is the 60th anniversary of D-Day.
Right.
Which was pretty cool. Obviously, that's why I remember it. But, and then I got out in 2011. So it's been a little while now in the civilian world, and playing this game, kind of feel like I understand this a lot more on the culture and community and all that. And, the last 3 years since the book has been published, and kind of seen, in 2016, there wasn't a lot of talk about transitioning into civilian life, and that has kind of blown up quite a bit. SFL TAP has changed, and there's a bunch of people out there now that are giving transition advice. Many of them still haven't figured it out themselves. So.
Well, SFL TAP is not. It's almost, from what I'm gathering, it's more. It is a little bit structured, but it's what you put into it for the amount of. In other words, first off, most commands don't allow a long. What we used to call ACAP, a long SFL process. They'll say, no, I'm only authorized to give you this much, and that's it. You know what I mean? You ever see that?
Way to screw a guy over.
Yeah, right. No, that's what I'm saying. Oh, well, you know how it is on Bragg. They do that shit. They're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're going to be on shoot shake. You got, no, we got DRF and shit. What are you talking about? You're about ready to go. Go report to the Globe. But I got to fucking go do this ACAP thing. Fuck your ACAP. You know what I mean? That's the way they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so what they're not going to do is they're not going to walk it away because, like you just said, they want you to stay, and they kind of like push you aside to freaking to just like, okay, yeah, for them, you know what I mean? You're like expendable at that point.
Yeah.
Now you did say, when you came on before, is that we're soldiers, we're supposed to be fucking killers. It's time to act on it. And you said something that kind of stuck in my head when you were talking to Jay Reddy, was the hey, it's time for the next mission.
Yeah.
Now, and I took that to heart because I as a first sergeant and all that, pushing soldiers out and shit like that, and doing the same thing. It's almost like I don't know. Is it? Do you think that guys right now, veterans getting out, are a little too needy for this shit? I mean, like, hey, you know what I mean? I'm calling it the way it is. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it's like you all were talking shit about being a badass, and you were all talking shit about blue cord and you guys are pogues and all this other stuff. But as soon as SFL tap happens, the reality doesn't quite start setting in until you're going at the old Womack over at the Soldier Support Center, and you got a DD 214 in your hand, and then the doors are open and
hello.
We're still here. You still there?
You said and then it blocked out.
I'm sorry. And you're standing at the doors, and you're with the DD 214 in your hand, and you look and you're like,
what now?
What now? Well, hey, motherfucker, I just saw you on Facebook bragging about being this big badass and shit. You didn't do it. Is it? Mm-hmm. Are you finding that in your experiences when you were getting research for this book, and I know you're writing a second one because me and you talked on Twitter about this.
Yep.
Are you starting to see that's a cultural thing? You think it's an issue that's starting to come up?
I don't think people realize what you're getting into when you get out of the military. Like for many people, and I will include myself, although I did have 4 years of college, but it's like you move out of the house and you move into a barracks, right? See, your whole life, your community, your friends, everything that you experience is all centered around that military community. You're surrounding yourself with people that A, are like-minded, B, they understand, they know all your stories, they've gone through it together. You got like this whole support network. And then you get out and bro, you're on your own, and this is the first time you're like, oh shit, what now? There's nobody to talk to. Like you grab the phone. It's like, the only people, there's nobody like to help me through this, to give me guidance. You get to a job and nobody really gives a damn if you figure it out or not. It's, this is what it is. And you've got this whole organization of folks that don't understand your language, you got to adapt and untrain yourself in many respects to what you have been drilled in, essentially everything right? Because you develop a new identity when you after a few years in the military, especially after a deployment. You're a different person. Not necessarily better or worse. You're just different. Like you're who you are, in many respects is a soldier, right? Like you have this mission of I wear a flag on my arm, and I used to carry a Constitution in my pocket. Like my job. The meaningfulness of what I was doing was really extreme, right? Like the first time in the history of humanity, man declares himself sovereign, and blood doesn't matter, that there is no royalty. You're only as good as you choose to be through your actions. And that's what I'm defending in this Constitution and these documents that are 200 years old, blah, blah, blah. Now you get out, and what do? Like, I manufacture some shit. Like what's it matter if this widget stops, right? Like, so, and in addition to that, you make a joke and everybody kind of looks at you and it was like, oh, okay, so shooting people in the face isn't funny anymore, right? Like,
right.
The whole or you drop an F-bomb, not even thinking, like you didn't even notice that you did it,
or you said
but
shit,
you just did it, yeah, or shit, whatever, and everybody kind of turns around and you're like, oh, what? Oh shit. And then they're like, oh, sorry, and like, man, I got to learn how to talk. I got to learn, how to engage with these people, how to establish meaningful relationships, and how to plug myself into a community. And how to have a relationship with your family. When you deploy, you're gone for a year, you come back, and then, especially in the 82nd, it's really like by the time you guys start to figure it out, you're gone again, and so this is now you're there all the time, every single day, and there's no time apart. And this is a whole new type of relationship. And that's kind of what's bugging me. And one of the reasons I contacted you guys is that I'm seeing a lot of this transition advice and all this stuff. It's all about finding a job.
Right.
That is like 1% of transition is finding a job. And that it's irritating me. And so like, okay, I feel like I got to make my voice even louder because we talk about military. Oh, I had a successful transition. No, you found a job. Like, that's what you did. Like you've been out 3 months. You don't even know the first thing yet.
Right.
Talk to me in a year when the stress of everything starts to hit you.
Or you lose that job and have to find another one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Or you get a shitty boss in the civilian world. Right. And you haven't even had your first evaluation yet since you've been out of the military. And so that to me is like finding out how to, you got to find a community of people. And if anybody doesn't capture anything else I say today, ignore the rest, find a community of people that are like you that you can plug into. You like mountain climbing? Find a mountain climbing community. You like shooting guns, finding shooting clubs. If you like whatever it is.
Except CrossFit. Only people who vape CrossFit. or P90X fuckers or some shit like that.
You're a vegan.
No, but no. The reason why is because I'm starting to notice that because we kind of tout the hashtag functional veteran thing around here. You know what I mean? The way it's supposed to be is that you're taking the positive traits of your service and implementing it into life, and then that's it. Right. You're not supposed to be walking around saying, I'm not saying that you've not done anything honorable into your service or anything like that. I'm just saying that now that everybody's a civilian world and now you're working at Best Buy as manager of sales, or you're working in a factory or whatever, that 18-year-old, 20-year-old kid looking at you, picking his nose with his saggy tight pants is going to go, anyways, I don't even know what a fucking pogue is. I'm going to be fucking late. You know what I mean? They're dudes, and you have to look back and you have to take everything in reserve, hold your breath by not choking a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because you have to assimilate. So I don't like the it just seems like to me, and what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of the needy shit. And I'm not saying it's not all vets and all that stuff, but it's like for all the guys that we're talking about being like, it said in the chats right there, it's easy to say you're a badass motherfucker when you're in.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then once the DD-214's in your hand, and you were just bragging about it and posting it all over Facebook saying, oh, my DD-214 armor and all this other shit.
Yeah.
And now you're like you said, 3 months into your job, and you think your transition's complete.
Right.
What do you? I mean, I'm segueing into the book. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to segue in your book. I'm preaching. I'm pumping the next one, man. So is there in this book that you're writing right now, because it's going to be a sequel to this one, right? This is going to be the next one, or is it volume 2 or
the second one is actually it's a change of pace. This one is my second book is going to be leadership focused, and really what I want to do is you were just talking about it, this functional veteran thing is taking that same type of stuff, right? So what was successful about military and teaching leadership, and then how do you in actuality translate that in the civilian world? And so that's what book 2 is, using these same sort of leadership skills and applying them in the civilian world. And it's kind of more for a broader audience. And the hope is, using both of these, one for, civilian guys that are looking for future leaders inside of their organization, that they understand the value that a military veteran can bring. And so that's what book 2 is going to be, a little bit of a change of pace. And then, and CONUS Battle Drills, the first book, is going to get a rewrite as well. So I did it kind of in the world in 2016 is a lot different than it is in 2019.
So you're saying that CONUS Battle Drills is going to be like volume 2 to kind of like to caveat and behoove on what the other book said?
to piggyback on the previous. Yeah.
To piggyback on what the first book said. So basically you're writing 2 then. You're writing a sequel to CONUS Battle Drills and what's the title of this next one coming out?
The second one is On Leading.
Okay.
And that one's coming out probably in June. I'm working with a group called Dead Reckoning Collective, which if you haven't heard about them, look them up. They've primarily on Instagram. Really great guys. They do. They're a publisher strictly for veterans, they just getting off the ground, and I figured, hey, look, here's a good group to work with, and if this takes off, then we would have a place where veterans can go and get their story told when to kind of a more niche community. So yeah, and that's what book 2 really is.
Okay. All right, cool. No, and are you now? Have you hit any of the circuits like because you got the motivational speakers at the VFW and American Legion?
Yeah.
VA. Have you hit any of those speaking engagements?
No, not really. I've been really focused on. For me, really was I had to figure out what the hell I was doing. And get my job under control, and I was pushing to try and grow in a company as fast as possible and really learn how to be successful in this new environment versus the military one, and so it's something that's been kind of on my mind and things I want to do. But getting away for as much time and doing that and has been difficult. I just haven't made it a priority really to do that. So with you guys, it's a lot easier, right? Like catching on the radio, get you on that's a lot easier to do than to physically go somewhere and give a speech and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's more of a
it's a more logistical hassle of going out, flying out, paying for freaking flights, and then going out and some of the stuff, getting up and out there, if you're good at something, like the Joker says, never do it for free. You know what I mean? I don't get, I love the veteran community, but there's still lights to freaking keep on. There's still, you know what I mean? I got to eat.
Yeah.
This whole free chicken stuff is great, but I want to see that. I want to see veterans go out and not and kind of shirk away the you got that bad idea.
Entitlement.
Yeah, it's I don't want to say it, but it seems like it. It seems like there's a dude. I'm just
I said it for you. There you
fuck,
go.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, God, I'm definitely not saying that you should not be proud of what you've done. You should not definitely say it. But I'm telling you, this generation ruined it for motherfuckers who are veterans. And I'll tell you why. And here's the reason why. Is when you think about it, it's like, okay, the greatest generation, right?
Yeah.
The greatest generation of World War II. We're talking about World War II. We're talking about how what they did. They and I'm quoting this because this is what they say, so I don't want people to fucking get mother and butthurt about me saying this.
Somebody will.
Yeah, of course. What are they gonna do? Ben, my dog tags. Probably gonna file a complaint with me on Facebook again, or send me some hate mail. But they said we killed Krauts, we killed Japs, we killed them, we killed the Hun bastards, and we did that, and everyone's like, oh yes, the greatest generation and all this other stuff. I couldn't even imagine what would happen. I mean, they don't talk about what they did because of the shit that they did was so fucking unreal, and they just didn't talk about it. They didn't seem like, they showed up, wore the little VFW or American Legion hats and with the pins in it and shit, and then they go do a couple of memorial ceremonies and reunions, and everyone's like, oh, look at those little old people, that's so cool, those old dudes and stuff like that, and then that's it, right? And then we get us, then we get the vet bros, and then we get the fuck, dude. I just think that that's where it falls into. That's what I'm saying about your book. That's where I see the issue of the entitlement stuff, where the guys from the Greatest Generation, guys and gals from the because there was women too, guys and gals from the Greatest Generation, they reinvested into America. They rebuilt the economy. They reestablished. We became a fighting force in the great 50s and up into the 60s and shit. We're starting to form a strong economy and governance. I don't know. It just seemed like to be better. It wasn't perfect, but it was better. God, there's some fucking crybabies right now. Bro, I'm telling you, man. I mean, because I flipped through your stuff. We like I said, and we talked on Twitter before. But when you said, and I mean, this is I know it's public when you said it, so it's not like you're revealing like fucking intimate secrets and shit. But you said, hey, I need to collect myself, and I need to redefine something, whatever, and the hits are gonna come, and something to that effect. And I said, no way, dude. That's what I got from your book. Take the fucking hits and keep going. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, Lou. I'm not saying that you were fucking falling into that entitled crap. I was just saying, that's. I was just kind of keep you back on track with your book. No, just kidding. But I don't get it. I mean, I don't see how you. I mean, when you said this is going to be for this time. Is that what you're trying to? Is that the demographic? Is that the target audience you're trying to hit when you say in this time, this is what we need to do to pull our fucking heads out of our asses? I guess
Yeah, I mean, obviously you gotta. So one of the things I think I've seen a lot is guys, you start to believe the hype. So in many ways, the flag waving. Oh man, people are gonna be pissed when they hear this. Anyway, the flag waving patriotism is become a fad. Okay. And, there's a lot of companies that are capitalizing on that. And
it's for the vets. It's for the vets.
It's for the vets.
It's for the vets.
Yeah. And then followed by closely as a veteran, right? Those are the two.
We're going to get some fucking hate mail. Just hit up Lou Fernandez and CONUS Battle Drills on Twitter. I said WTFNationRadio.com. Go ahead, man. But I'm agreeing with you, man. I mean, everything's stated on WTF Nation Radio.
You start to believe it, right? Like you hear something enough, you hear something enough, you start to believe it, and you start to think, like the thank you for your service. Boy, let me tell you, I still haven't figured out how to answer that question, by the way, or that statement. Thank you for your service. Like, well, it was a great time. I didn't do it for you. I don't know.
Yeah, I just say appreciate it, sir, and I just walk away like it's like I don't want to say it's an unwanted comment, but it feels awkward to kind of like I don't know. It's
dude,
awkward.
If you knew some of the shit I did, you wouldn't be thanking me for my service.
Right, dude. As you said, thank you for your service. You know how that one meme of the dog is just sitting there going, "Hey boy, you want to go get the bone?" And he has like Vietnam helicopters in his mind and shit.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking of Mosul and shit, man. I was like,
yeah,
fucking But go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So you're saying that it's a fan thing.
You start to believe like, oh, being a veteran somehow makes you better. That you're better than the guy who is, been out there and been working in the, just kind of looking down on people and that kind of stuff. And then, so you get this drilled into you. So when you get out and you're not better or you're not treated better, then that ends to the, kind of resentment towards population. And then people start, pushing themselves deeper into the vet bro community,
right?
And so that's kind of where one of the things I've been pushing is to pull people out of that. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to offer, quote unquote, as a veteran.
As a veteran,
yeah. You actually have a lot of leadership lessons, and not the Arlie Ermy, in your face drill sergeant. I don't even want to call that leadership, but that thing, that's not what I'm talking about. It's the, hey, we just got the order to go assault this mountain. There's 40 to 60 enemy entrenched. I know there's only 11 of us, but we're going up. right? And all of the work that you've done up to that point to earn the respect and the trust from your guys, right? That's months of work to get to a point where you could do that. And then, that actually happened to me. So, and that level of skill that each and every one of those guys, that you get when you become an NCO and you do it right, because, there's those that don't. But that if you can take that, harness those skills, and then take them out there into the civilian workforce, you're going to shine so far beyond everybody else. You show up on time, you're in the right uniform, and I'm doing air quotes here. You're wearing your clothes the way you're supposed to. You address people with respect. You treat them with respect before you receive it. You do your work correctly. I don't know if you were ever on a staff, but when people go with the slides and the little thing, the icon on the top right moves, and the sergeant major loses his mind because all the logo, the unit insignia are not in the same place. And so
it was off. Yeah.
Wait, go back, go forward.
Go back. Look at that. You see that?
What I see?
You see what I see?
You see that?
Spanky, why are you looking at me like that? I don't ever make you do slides. God damn it. Don't even say that. I see Spanky's like giving me the fucking the Forrest Whitaker eye when you said slides.
But see that level of detail of doing your work right. Look at a JMPI. The way if you can do a JMPI and you do it exactly right every single time, you take that same level of seriousness with everything you do. You take that into the civilian world, dude. You're gonna move up past everybody. Like that is what people need out there. That is the skill that you bring. It's not, I shot people in the face. Like, no, good for you, but that's not what they're looking for. That's not why they hired a veteran. What they were looking for was that leadership quality.
I like that JMPI analogy. That's what I'm talking about. Advanced I'm an advanced airborne school graduate, so hell yeah. All
there
the
you
way.
go.
I'm a three-time I'm a three-time jump master attendee. Damn right.
Well, that one's in the next book, so you'll probably appreciate that.
Hell yeah, dude! You gotta give him a walkthrough because everybody knows that jump mat, open ripcord protector flap, type shit. Understand the level of detail, time and sequence, and do it like you said, do it right. And only check once, always ready. I will always be sure. That's the rigor quote too.
There you go.
Now here's the thing. Now that in that, do you think? Are you throwing new techniques? Have you learned something from your work already as a civilian? Being because you've been out for a little bit. You've been kind of like navigating this realm so far. Have you thrown some? Have you thrown some comments? Have you thrown some advice to some of your coworkers, and they know who you are?
Oh yeah. So I'm finally to the point now in my civilian life that people don't know I'm ex-military until I tell them. So that took about 4 years, by the way. It used to be you walk up and 5 minutes in, someone's like, "Oh, were you in the military?" Like, "Oh, geez, man! I really wear it on my shoulder, And it's only become now where the speech and the conversation and all that is completely molded to that world. But yeah, I have a lot of things that I've noticed, well, for instance, we are on sergeant's time, guys that are active duty, guys that are looking to get out. You're going to start interviewing for jobs. All right. And the SFL TAP's going to disagree with this advice, but I'm going to give it anyway, because I still feel strongly about this. The best way for you to find a job is to get a headhunter. And one of the articles on CONUSBattleDrills.com is it talks about how the recruiter is like the finding a job is like finding a girl that you want to date. Okay. And if you just walk up to this girl on the street or wherever, at the bar or the club, you're going to have a much tougher time getting her to listen to you. Right. But if you have a friend of hers that knows you and then comes over and is like, "Hey, so-and-so would like to meet you," like, you're going to be much closer to getting in. All right. And the headhunter is going to do that for you. Right.
So, okay. So
for instance,
so you're saying now, okay, I'm trying to wrap my head in this world now. You're so you're saying that you gotta there's someone that you want to talk to. It's like you're gonna hang out and pick up on a chick, and the headhunter is the friend bartender that knows that chick, and
exactly.
and she's your in. Okay, all right.
Yep. Yep.
All
there
right.
it is.
Just want to make sure.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. So what they're trying to teach guys. I'm on the outside. I haven't been through the new course. This may be wrong. My experience from the outside of what I've seen is they're telling people, they teach you how to do the LinkedIn and networking, and networking is connecting with people and doing this content and blah, blah, blah. Look, dude, that might work. It's not very effective in my opinion. I have seen a lot of people doing this, and, it's kind of like the latest fad type thing. I've been on LinkedIn for many years now, pumping out content. I pump out content on all the different platforms, Facebook and Twitter, and just joined Instagram. I haven't done much on YouTube because it's a lot of work, and LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is kind of, I'm moving there more. But anyway, so I'm whatever the little LinkedIn Premier profile, whatever they call it. And I've done both of these job searches. When I got out of the military, I linked up with a headhunter. We had a phone interview. I sent him a resume. He shot it all up, told me exactly what it needed to look like. I fixed it. I sent it to him. He said, hey, be in Chicago on this day. I go there that day, the night before. They sit you down. You get presentations from all these different companies. He gives me a list of companies that I'm interviewing. In that list was John Deere, Unilever, Wells Fargo, Diageo, which is the guys that make rum, like Captain Morgan and stuff.
Hell yeah.
Wait.
What was the job there? What was that? A tester or quality control? What was the job there?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. Yeah, those guys were awesome, by the way. That was they were like one of my top choices, but yeah, it was like, oh, I ended up not going with them, but yeah, they were really cool. They were in like shorts and t-shirts when I showed up, and the guidance they gave the recruiter was, don't send us any douchebags. That was all they told me.
God. But
yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. So then you went to the
Yeah, so the night before I go in, they give all the companies, several companies, they give presentations. John Deere actually had a pizza and beer that they provided all the candidates the night before. And then the next day, I had like 9 interviews, one after the other. Bam, 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 bam. With all these different companies. Fidelity was another one. So all these companies, bam, bam, bam. 9 interviews, I had 8 yeses. I think the only company that said no was Nestle Waters. They were in like Michigan. And I asked the guy like what people do for fun. And he's like, oh, so many things. Like we do ice skating and, ice fishing and hockey.
And snow shit.
And like,
yeah.
Yeah, all this winter shit, and I'm like, dude, I'm from Miami, Florida, bro. Like, I must have just worn it on my face, like this is not for me, I'm not doing that. So 9 interviews in one day, I had 8 yeses, and then so to do a second interview, I went and did a second interview and had an offer, and I had a job offer, like 2 months before I got out of the military. Got out of the military, went straight to a job. And then I actually double dipped for a couple months. Finding a job. Okay, so that was my first experience. A little over a year ago, actually like 2 years ago now, my wife wanted to move back. She's from Tucson. I met her when I was at Fort Huachuca training. She's originally from Tucson. I was working for John Deere. We were in the Midwest and in North Carolina, and she wanted to come home. And I was like, all right, well, I'll do this new fad bullshit that they're telling people. And I tried to do all of these different, network and meet recruiters and do all that stuff. And now the good thing is from that, I have a lot of recruiter contacts. So I've been able to help a few guys that are looking for jobs. But for me personally, in a specific geographic location. So this is another thing I talk about in the 4 big questions. I talk about where you want to live. Though when you limit your geography, your job search is going to take a lot longer. And I searched for almost a year. And in the end, the job that I got was because I knew the hiring manager already from before. When I was still in the Army, I knew him. And then he hired me in. Right. So in the end, that whole bullshit that they tell you, that none of that worked. I tried all kinds of things. And for those of you that are looking into this stuff, I tried the pain letter stuff, which is like you look up, you see a job and you figure out who the hiring manager is. And then you send them a letter saying, I assume this is probably something you're struggling with, and this is how I could fix it. I did not do the donuts with the resume or the cookies with the resume. I've seen that out there.
Say that again.
Okay.
Whoa! So what's a donut? Whoa! What's this?
This is a new thing. This is a new thing. Like, people want to stand out as candidates, so what they're doing is like they'll submit they'll go to the location and they'll drop off their resume with some snacks. So it may be a cookie or stuff like that. And it's this kind of like gimmicky shit. And, I've been a hiring manager now in the civilian world for about 4 years. I've done it external. And, I don't know, man. I read the resumes that come through that get to me. So, yeah, attach donuts to it. It's not, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it may work for some people.
Isn't there like a scandal going on right now about bribing people and shit with schools? I mean, don't you kind of think that, what if somebody's like trying to like diet and there's a hiring manager's a little on the tubby side and you sitting there throwing some donuts at his ass? You think you could get hired, bro? I have never heard of that, dude. Never heard of that.
Some people, and this is the world of 2019. This kind of gimmicky crap, and personally, I don't think it works. All right, I've done both things. I've tried the networking, and I have hundreds of contacts, and through the Facebook page, thousands of contacts, and it didn't work for me. Okay, and this is a guy, I speak 4 languages. I have an MBA. I've been in the military and the civilian world, 14 years of leadership experience. And, I was experienced in marketing and operations and manufacturing and product development and program management, all of these things. And I couldn't make it work like that. In the end, it came down to having a relationship with somebody. And so I don't buy it. Some people at my work, personally, I think it's crap. So my advice stays the same in 2019. And as far forward as I can see, you need a recruiter, you need a headhunter, work with these guys that have established relationships with companies that are interested in hiring veterans. They've already got that relationship going, and they've got their expectations set of what they're looking for. And that dude is going to put you into a place that's going to work. That's, end, period. That's personally how I feel.
With or without donuts? With or
without donuts?
Bro, dude, I mean, you got people in the chat already saying, hey, I'll pay people donuts to make my resume. No, these are people that are like bribing the recruiters to hire you, right? That's what it is?
Well, it's just to get noticed, right? Because, so one thing, for instance, if you apply online to a company right now, the majority of those don't even get looked at. Because companies are working with recruiters.
Right.
And so you apply online and they just have to post it online, but they don't normally look at them. They look at the candidates that are brought to them by recruiters.
And do they, and so now the days of you just throwing an app in like it used to be are over.
That doesn't work. And then there's like the easy apply on LinkedIn and, so sometimes you may get a response, but you may get a response from like that company's recruiter. They may, do like a pre-interview and that kind of stuff. But if you're really looking to get in somewhere, if you really want to work for a company, you got to have a contact at least for a manager level, right? So if we're talking like, so I guess what I'm saying is this is for like the E8, senior E7, E8 and above, that guy that's getting out and is looking to go into the civilian world, that this is kind of for you. For the younger guys, if you did your 4 or 6 years, you're getting out as a E4, E5, and you're looking for a kind of an entry level position, that you do stand a better chance at that. This is more kind of for senior enlisted junior officer type guys. That's I guess I should say that as a caveat there.
To caveat off the behooving, right?
Right.
To piggyback,
it would behoove you. It would behoove you to get a recruiter.
on the on the behooving.
On the behooving. Yes.
I would just because again I'm trying to get noticed that you have to bribe somebody to get noticed. it's almost like you really just, like you just said, you kind of have to like know somebody.
Yeah.
The person, like for me, I mean, I could never, because of the way I've caused so much drama being on WTF, I could never work at a job. I could never, no one can ever. Hey, wait, aren't you that ice motherfucker that was like talking some shit earlier back on Fernandez was on there? But yeah, well, yeah, we can't take you. But I got the fucking donuts, dude. I brought donuts. I don't care. You know what I mean? I would be my luck. So I mean, is it there's something that like a trick to the resume? I mean, could you give some of the pointers of what you would look at as a hiring guy?
Yeah. Okay. So that's really great question. So first off, if you ask 99 people to review your resume, you're going to get 99 different responses, and it'll never be good enough in your mind. Okay. So A is at some point your resume is good enough. B is when you're writing it, give me in the civilian world, we call them KPIs, key performance indicators. And so what were your successes? Like what I've seen a bunch of guys do is they'll go in and they'll pull their job description from the OER and COER. And it says like lead and train a 35-man airborne infantry platoon ready to deploy anywhere in the world, 18 out, like
wheels up, rah, rah, DRF, DRB, rah, 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 run down Ardennes.
Run Ardennes. I had a sergeant major, by the way, that called it Ardennes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
He had never been in the 82nd. He came into the 82nd as a sergeant major, called it Ardennes.
Whoa.
It was, and it was like the whole battalion was there when he said it too, and it was just like you could see the guys like
cringing and shit. Did he just say Ardennes? We didn't say hard on your knees, old man. We're just fucking. So okay. So you say you got the KPI. So basically, you want to have the quantifiable deliverables that you've done, like the result of your work produced this, right? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's I don't want to see on your resume something that anybody has had your job title that has done. I don't give a shit. I don't care what the job title is. If your resume, if you can hand it off to somebody who's done the same thing as you, who's had the same jobs, and they could use that same resume, it's worthless. I'll just tell you that right now. It needs to be, what did you do? What effect did you have? What ideas did you come up with? And then when I look at that as a hiring manager, I'm thinking how this person is going to do those same things for me. All right. And so that's what it needs to be. It needs to have those kind of specific, measurable stuff. And if anybody's, you could look me up on LinkedIn. My LinkedIn has that stuff on there. And so I've done that with every job that I had there. If you go on that LinkedIn, you could see where it says, it just says like platoon leader and then, or, XO, and then it has a description of something that I did, that only I did, that added value to the organization. And not every, program manager for John Deere, not every program manager for John Deere. In fact, no one but me can have those bullets on their resume because those are things that I specifically did.
Right. That makes sense. So in other words, if you were a first sergeant, or if you were an ops sergeant major, a battalion sergeant major, you can't just have the general trained, 500 so on so and blah 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 blah, and you literally you literally have to like be involved. Have you ever seen guys that have thrown some shady shit on there? They're like, man, this guy's totally bullshit. There's no way this guy did this. There's no way this motherfucker didn't do shit. I mean, do you have guys like that? Like guys coming out of the military that just totally embellish their blue cord and or hell, even their pogness, whatever. You know what I mean? They have thrown themselves so much and embellished in what they've done, realizing that a TAC fire system in a fucking artillery piece is just a couple of push buttons, but they think they're IT specialists. Have you seen guys like that in your experience?
The one that gets me the most is and again, on this one, I could hear both sides of this argument. Somebody smarter than me could come on and tell you why I'm wrong here, but the civilianizing of a job description. So it'll say, project manager or whatever. Look, the military has a lot of things that are similar to being a project or a program manager. But the thing that sets the reason a program manager is such a valuable resource is that person understands business requirements. You start with a business case, building a business case, identifying customer needs, how you're going to answer those customer needs, volume, understanding the volumes as each year, when you're going to hit mature volumes, when it's going to kick off, when you need to bring your new program in, how to do, build an assembly line, how to do testing of a program, all that kind of stuff. That's business related stuff. In the military, you understand the planning process, and MDMP is very similar. The military decision making process is very similar to a lot of the processes that exist in the civilian world.
Oh, I was going to ask you, okay, because I was going back and forth with someone I know about this stuff, and I was laughing my ass off about it because it was a big deal it's a big deal in the in the deal. It's a big deal in the RSOF world and in the Bragg world and in the in the officer world too. This PMP certification and this Delta Six Sigma Lambda Omega Mu. Fucking stuff that you're
Six Sigma black belt.
Black belt. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell's that? It's fucking. Yeah. I'm not. I'm fucking. Dude, I'm pushing 50, bro. I ain't got time for this limber yoga shit. What is this? And then, it's a process that's what's up with that?
Yeah. Well, I am a PMP and a Six Sigma black belt.
Oh my god.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. So explain the PMP, then explain the Delta 640 whatever.
Yeah. So PMP is Project Management Professional, and it's a certification that this company, I can't remember what they're called, but anyway, this company that has all these processes for managing a project and how they go, and so you go in and you take this test, and it's a 4-hour exam essentially, and it costs you like $300-400 or whatever to take the test. And then, bam, you get this certification. And then you got to take ongoing courses and stuff to maintain it. But the idea is that you understand planning processes and you can manage a project. The thing is, when you're the reason program and project managers are so valuable is that they understand the financials behind these projects, right? Because a company is doing an investment, they're making an investment in the marketplace, they're taking a risk in either in capital and expense, and there has to be a ROI, a return on investment for that. And you got to understand that. And then how do you reduce costs? Where does cost reduction make sense? Where does it not? Are you compromising quality, or where can you have a lower quality piece or part in a machine or whatever it is? So this kind of like fundamental understanding of a business and how a business operates. When you're a project manager in the civilian world, you're essentially the company is investing in a new business, and you're starting that business. That's kind of how you need to look at it. So that's why I take a little bit of issue when I see some of these guys changing their job title from plans officer or S3 or S3 NCOIC to project manager, because okay, you understand a lot of these planning processes and you can be successful, but you weren't a project manager. Budgetary is not, frankly, it's not that big of a deal in the military. You're not rewarded for cutting costs. In fact, you're penalized. And hey, we got X amount of dollars left in the budget. You better use it, or we're not going to have it next year.
Right.
In the civilian world, it's okay. Well, I'm going to give you $19 million. Figure out how to use less.
Right, and the less you make, the bonus you get.
Right, exactly. I was brought out in front of the CEO of John Deere because I did a program for $450,000, which was like unreal. Usually, you're talking minimum $3 to $5 million, or $5 million, 3 to 5 years. And I did $450,000 in less than a year. It was like 8 months or something. And they were like, "Holy shit!" And that was impossible, And we did it, right? And so that kind of stuff, that's where, so there's a lot of the military leadership things that you can rely on, and to understand these, you're going to pick it up faster.
Right. So it's not,
you weren't a project manager.
Correct. Right. Yeah. So I was about to say, so you're not a project manager, but I mean, you're a PMP is a project management professional. And then you have the PGMP, and then you have the PFMP, and then you have the CAPM, and the PMABA, and the PMIACP, and the RMP, PMI. I'm like, what the fuck? So if somebody, because, I'm getting up in years and shit. So when it's time for me to fucking start throwing the schools down and all that, and I got all these guys on, right, man, you need to do this PMP and all. So I did research. You're right. It cost some loot to do it. And I'm thinking, So what's the PMP? What's wrong with just going to school? I mean, what's wrong with just getting a degree, or what's wrong with just going through this process? So the PMP process basically, to me it sounds like it's the normal, like you just said, it's an MDMP.
Yeah, it is in many regards. I mean, it's a lot more detailed, and it centers on the civilian world a lot more, and you get into like a lot of and personally, all the stuff that I use in the test, I in reality, and in actually bringing all these products to market that I have, I use maybe 10% of it that I would have anyways. So
right, but the thing with us is that we have to, and this is one thing about like you were talking about the senior guys, is that the MDMP, come on, man, everybody knows MDMP is vague as fuck. It's so it is so vague on course of action analysis, and it's so vague on COA selection that you just evaluate the correct. Hell, it's funny because Six Sigma, Lambda, whatever you want to call it, is, I shouldn't be breaking balls. I mean, it's the, everyone like, what are you talking about? It's the Six Sigma project process. That's what it's called. I don't want to like, I don't want nobody to fucking, it is the Six Sigma project process of there's Six Sigma phases. The Six Sigma phases is the same thing as the military problem solving process in MDMP.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just kind of like thinking about, so what's so special about this? What's the big deal? I mean, because it's vague with the MDMP process. Six Sigma is inside the MDMP process if you look at the military problem solving process. So I'm thinking, why is it that we got, like I was just talking about, Men in Black, that guy who was wearing, the Edgar suit. You got some sergeant major or some colonel that walks in there going, "Oh, I don't know how to do this. I'm having a problem. I'm struggling here, man. Just hook it up. Here are some donuts. Hire me." You know what I mean? So why is it that these dudes are, why do these guys come Matt Damon in this shit? And is it a connection problem with getting their brain unlocked to the military shit too much? Or is this process the standard of civilian working that us as veterans or military have to just jettison all the military shit?
Well, it's more of you're gonna use your military knowledge to be successful in these processes, and really it's, if you're gonna translate, it's one of these things that you just, in the civilian world, sometimes you just kind of have to do in order to have clout, because these organizations, you move through them, and people may, when they know that you have this, they know that, oh, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. Like I've seen a lot of people, they have like the actual certifications up on their desk and stuff. So when people come and talk to them, they know that, oh, he's, it's kind of like having an MBA or
it's kind of like having your,
it's kind of a Ranger tab.
I was about to say, it's like having your fucking ERB in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
When you're driving down fucking Bragg Boulevard, showing your shit on Skybo, and you're fucking, you look at you. Look at that. You see my truck? That's all ballered the hell out with Ranger tabs and Jumpmaster shits all over it.
Right. Yeah, like having a Ranger tab isn't necessarily going to make you a good leader.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That doesn't define you as a leader. However, if you want to be a leader in the 82nd Airborne, you got to have a Ranger tab.
And you got to be a Jumpmaster.
Right. And you got to be a Jumpmaster. Right? This is just kind of, you just got to do it.
Right.
Right. And so, you could know all of this stuff. You could be, I had a guy he was a lieutenant with me in the 82nd. He got hurt in Ranger School, deployed without his tab, was an incredible combat leader. Today, he's in special operations stuff, done an amazing job, Bronze Star with V, blah, blah, blah. He did that all tabless, right? And then later he went and got it, but he started without it. So it's not necessarily meaning that you know anything or that you're going to be successful or whatever it is. It does kind of set you apart, and it is an indicator of success. Shit.
Success of what? What's the indicator?
I'm sorry, my phone just lit up. I thought I got disconnected from you.
Oh,
that's why I said, oh shit.
Oh no, I'm about to say, oh shit, what? Tell us a fucking. Leave us a cliffhanger, dude. Come on. So, but yeah, pick up the book. CONUS Battle Drills on sale right now, currently on Amazon.com. No, but see, the thing is though, is that there's those qualifications. Those is what gets a lot of our veterans all fucking freaked out about. because immediately they don't know where to go to. They don't know where to go.
You don't need it. You don't need it when you first. I got all of that stuff after I got out. So I got the PMP, the Six Sigma, the MBA. I did all that stuff after I got out in the civilian world. And by the way, there was a guy on CONUS Battle Drills that asked about the GI Bill. I used my GI Bill to get it. And then I also got the company to pay for it. So I double dipped and made money.
Right. And I was about to say, too, that's a double dip that you can and can talk about. And it's legal to say on air. And it's legal to say because you earned that. Okay, so I got people telling me, "Oh, that's fucked up." You guys said, these are tips and tricks to help you survive because while you're going through school, going through this stuff, you guys are going to get the BAH rate of a buck sergeant, and you need it. You need it because you might be in between jobs, you might be trying to get your house squared away. Because once you get out and you start, I don't know, paying taxes, more shit, and fucking having to pay for fucking medical stuff and stuff will just come out of the blue. Bam, $200 here. Bam, $300 there. Bam, $400 there. It's just coming out of the blue because now you're no longer protected from being active duty. So you were saying, going back on that, there's an issue right now in the veteran in the VA that we're going to highlight, and I have somebody who's doing some research for me in the VA side of the house that's going to come on in the future, but kind of like under a condition of anonymity. That right now, if you use tuition assistance throughout your whole service, and you get a bachelor's degree, you can't use your 9/11 GI Bill for your fucking for a master's because you are considered employable. For voc rehab. For voc rehab. Because voc rehab is supposed to get you a certification, right? It's supposed to get you certified and employable. If you already have a bachelor's degree, you're considered employable. So that means I am interested in talking to why the VA cuts that off. Why is it that guys and gals who cut their teeth in service, getting their fucking degree, are now getting penalized? Oh, well, yes, you can't use it. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of a shitty cost-saving measure.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. That's basically probably what it is. It's to build that wall or some shit. But the whole point being is that there's nobody to go to, like you were saying. I know you didn't get it, but right now the culture is if you don't have Six Sigma and if you don't have PMP, PFP, are down with OPP, you ain't gonna get it. You're screwed. So. And that's why I was asking.
I don't believe that.
I'm saying, but that's the culture of them. That's what they're telling them at SFL. That's what they're telling them at Soldier for Life.
No,
is that?
No. I'm gonna just disagree. So I've been out in this world for 8 years. I'm hiring people. Okay, I don't care if you've got the degree or the certification or whatever. Okay, I want to know, do you have the skills? That's what I'm looking for. As a hiring manager, that's the type of person that I want to bring in on my team. Someone that I know is a strong leadership, lots of potential. That's who I want. All the certifications, to me, that's not as big of a deal. So I don't think you need it. And if you, I may tell you need to get it. Right. So I may say, hey, look, I got hired in. I was a program manager for John Deere, Fortune 100 company, with 6 different programs, over $20 million R&D, 90 people that I gave work direction to, several different factories all over the world. I did not have a PMP. I got it after I got the job. Okay, because I got in there, I got the job, I was doing the job successfully, and the manager said, hey, if you want to manage program managers, you should get this PMP. Got it, I'll go do it.
Okay, now I was about to say, so some companies, they'll hire you on under the guise or under the specifications of, okay, we're hiring you, but you better get this thing. It's almost like a degree completion program in the Army. Like if you're going to be an officer.
Not even.
OCS.
No, for her it was, if you want to, in the future, lead other program managers, it would help in your application process with this company. If you had this, it would set you apart.
Oh, gotcha.
It was like, okay.
So it's like Jump Master. It's like Jump Master in the company.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like getting a tab, Jump Master. Okay. We got to break it down for the vets, man, because they won't understand that. I'm serious, because they're going to think, well, I already got the job, so why do I got to fucking do it? You know what I mean? So it would, that's a pretty good, that's a good comparison, because some guys won't. Some guys think that once they got the job, they got in, and they're in the company, and there's another position to get hired on within the company. Then they get all butthurt when you get told, well, you might want to get a PMP. Wait a minute, I'm qualified, and that's when the fucking entitled shit comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no. When I got out, I was a history major in college because I knew I was going into the military. So my degree was completely worthless when I got hired on with John Deere. And I looked around and I was like, holy crap, every single one of these people is an engineer. Every single manager is an engineer, or they have an MBA. And so that was where I was like, okay, I better go get my master's in business. And so it was more of, it didn't hurt me getting in any job. And I never got a job because of a degree, you know, and it was, that was never what, you know, that wasn't a kicker to getting anything, the degree or the certification or anything like that. It's just a matter of, hey, look, I did this. I went through it. You know, I am capable of these things. So I don't know.
Is it a case though of the certification? I mean, we're not talking like, you know, the medical field, or we're not talking about like, you know, that type of stuff where you know, most you have to be, you know, for you to be a doctor.
Yeah, you got to be.
You got to go to school, and medical school has to have a degree. And bro, they ain't giving you no PMP Six Sigma for fucking being a dentist or some shit. You know what I mean? Are you finding it that that sometimes companies only look at just having degrees? I mean, do they? And here's where the entitled stuff in. Do they just say, hey, look, yeah, you're a vet, and we know you have some skills, and we know you don't have a degree, but this is where you're kind of hiring in? Or they say, no, screw you, you don't have a degree. I don't give a fuck if you were in the Army for 50 years. You know what I mean?
Well, you're going to get that. There's shitty managers everywhere. Okay. It isn't exclusive to the military, by the way. Your crappy command climate, that exists in the civilian world too. So, but in the same way, there are people that are very short-sighted, and they're like, oh, well, you got to have a degree if you want to have this job. And I'm thinking, no, like that's, you know, I'm the guy that'll look at and be like, well, this dude not only is he an outstanding welder, but he's a great leader. So I want to put him in a leadership position, you know. And then a shitty manager is like, well, he doesn't have a bachelor's degree. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
you know?
and see, that's the thing. That's the hate. That's
yeah.
hate. So what if somebody? Because, you know, I'm not saying that you got somebody that busted their ass going through fucking school. I mean, you saw this. Come on, man. You know the deal. You're in the Army. You got guys. You were working in the State Department or something like that went to Columbia and Georgetown and all this other shit. And here comes old Captain Fernandez. Oakley dokily, what's going on, guys? And they look down on you because, yeah, hey guys, what's going on? I'm here to help you with this Iraq deployment and ensure that was country stability and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, they're like, well, you only have a history degree. You know what I mean? Aren't there some? I mean, I'm sure there are, but do you see that there is a discriminatory factor on guys who have super degrees in basket weaving or interpretive dance? That got the job because they knew somebody, and they're just looking down because, well, he doesn't have a degree. And that's like the stigma, you know what I mean, of having education for something like you were talking about production lines and engineers. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Do you see that a lot?
Yeah, I mean, do I see it a lot? Yeah. It's hard to put a number on it, but yeah, I mean, I see it. But here's the thing: you don't want to work for that manager anyway. Okay, so if you're gonna if the only reason you're getting a job is because of a degree, and that person is discriminating against others, and I don't use that like racial discrimination. I'm just saying they're discriminating against people that don't have degrees. You don't want to work for that person, okay? Because that person is a shitty leader anyway. So if they don't want to hire you because you don't have a certification or a degree, you're lucky here. You're gonna do better off not having to work for that person, because they're gonna make your life miserable, having that type of personality. And that type of personality is the same person who, if they rise in the ranks, that toxic type leader that looks down on other people that are below their rank that they were just at a year ago, okay, and now they think they're better because they got promoted. You don't want to work for that person. And so, that's just kind of my I guess my thought on it. You know, you want to work for the person that can see that and see the value that you're going to bring to their organization. They're going to value you better, and then they are going to make sure they provide the opportunities for you to get whatever certification that's going to make you stand out for the future opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. That all seems like a good and well endowed fucking vision there. You know what I mean? I'm not saying, you know,
I'm full of shit.
No. I'm just whatever. No. I'm just saying, but no. I'm just saying that it just. I mean, that's a pretty believable fucking thing. You know, frogs and rainbows and with little pointy hats. But I'm just thinking that, dude. I mean, I see it so much that there's such good fucking people that work hard and bust their ass. You know, they're fucking smart, and you got that fucking stigma right off the bat because the Tia Soldier for Life and TAP fucking They just immediately fucking go, well, so you should go to school and you should have 3 resumes already ready to go, and then they move you off to the next spot. Are you in your book? Are you going to talk about how to recover from that rejection? Do you cover rejection at all?
I think so. Yeah, I talk about failure and stuff, and but yeah, the rejection. You're going to get rejected a lot. This is going to happen. There's a lot of people that have said no to me. I mean, I told you I job hunted for a year. I got a lot of no's, but some random stranger saying no to you does not degrade your value or what you can bring. Okay. It's kind of their loss, yeah. I mean, that's a tough one. We could probably talk another hour just on that.
Oh, hell yeah. Because there's some guys that it really takes it to their ego. I mean, yeah. You can't talk to me. I'm that fucking man in combat. Blah, 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 blah. You can't tell me no.
Yeah.
You just told me to go PMP Six Sigma.
Yeah. See, that guy, that's the reason you're not getting the job, by the way.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because that attitude that you have where you think you're better, that's coming out in your interview. And that's why you're not getting the job.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Because you are wearing that self-righteous attitude everywhere you go. And nobody wants that in their organization.
Now, with that, okay, so now because so you're done Soldier for Life, you're done laughing at Six Sigma and fucking you did the PMP stuff and you're good to go. You finally got an okay job and all that stuff. Now you got the resume and it's time for the interview. You got any tips? You got any?
Yes.
You got okay. And you can pull your card out, bro. Reason why we're carrying this past your time is because first, I love fucking shooting the shit with you, and second, you got to give the vets. We got to get this out to our community on this shit. So now I'm all done. I got the resume. I'm sporting my suit, shit. I'm looking all fly, and I'm ready to be on fleek in front of my fucking future employers. And this is the job that I want to try to get. And then I sit in, and they start what? Give me the scenario.
Yeah. So okay, one is one thing that's popular today is behavioral interviewing. I see a lot of this, especially in the Fortune 100. Eventually, they're going to move away from it, but right now, this is kind of the latest fad: behavioral interviewing. Behavioral interviewing is where you ask an open-ended question, and it goes something like, "Tell me about a time you had a workplace conflict with a fellow employee, and how did you resolve it?" Right? And that's the question. So now you got to tell a story about how you dealt with a workplace conflict, or tell me about a time that you were in charge of a project that failed. How did you handle it? What did you do? These tell me about a time questions. All right. And so you got to tell a story now. So you got to be prepared with that. The way to really be successful with these is to, one, you could look up with some popular behavioral, but have in your hip pocket, say 5 or 6 wins that you've had in your career that you want to talk about. Okay. And if you think about them closely, in most of these questions, you can weave into it that story of your win. So if a workplace conflict thing. So I want to talk about, I wanted to talk about this program where I was really successful. That, this one I just talked about earlier where we had, we did it in 8 months and $450,000, right? And I'll say, okay, well, I had a gal that I was working with that we brought this program up and she said it was impossible and it wasn't going to happen and there was no way to work and whatever. And so I started asking her questions about, well, in a perfect world, how would we do it, blah, blah, blah. So what I've done is I've answered their question, but I've also told the story that I wanted them to tell, because then they're walking away saying, well, because what they're going to remember, they're looking for those things like, how is this guy going to help our organization? And so they're going to remember, like, this dude brought in a project that, X number of dollars or whatever it is. So have your 5 to 10 stories that you want to tell, write them out. This is the story. And then think about what they could apply to. And generally, when someone's giving you a behavioral interview question, what they might do is they may tell you, like a category of what it is. So maybe it'll say like, the next topic we're going to talk about is leadership. Okay. And then they'll say, tell me about a time you had a workplace conflict. Okay. So they're looking for leadership. So which one of my stories is about leadership? And then you weave in this conflict that you had or whatever. So that's one is the behavioral questions. and being prepared to answer those, because you're gonna get one. You know, the typical ones, your greatest strength, your greatest weakness. I think those are bullshit ass questions that you shouldn't bother asking. But so those come out there. Then the other thing is that you want to do is you want to have questions prepared to ask them. People like you when you give them a chance to talk about themselves. It's just kind of like a general thing about human beings. They love to talk about themselves. And so if you're asking questions that make it feel like a conversation, you're building a trust and a relationship with that person. They're going to walk off and say, I like that guy, right? Like that's what you say. If you ever walk out of an interview, you're like, I didn't like that guy. Or, oh yeah, I like that guy. That's what people are going to walk away with. And so the way you do that is you got to have questions prepared that are thought-provoking and that get them talking. So for instance, if it's a job, what is the first project that you want me to take on? And you ask it that way, right? That you want me to take on when I get, but don't emphasize me, but just say, what's the first project you want me to take on when I get into this role? If I was going to be successful in this role, who are the people that I should talk to? A year from now,
so you're going to place a scenario on them. So what project will you give me once I get on here? So once I get on here, what do you see? So would it be out of place to tell the company or to ask the interviewers, what do you have right now in the company that you need help with? That's
one of the things in this job. Why are you hiring this job? What are some of the problems that you guys are facing right now that you would like me to address? Right. So they've already in their mind, when you ask the question that way, what problems are you facing right now that you want me to address? They've already in their mind, they've put you in that position. They're looking at you to solve their problems. They're going to tell you what it is. Okay. So in their mind, you are already solving their problems. So that's an outstanding question. Absolutely. Think you should ask that. Those, and I actually have an article on CONUSBattleDrills.com about questions you should ask in an interview or something like that. And it's got a list of them. And I think there's like 6 on there or whatever that, are good questions to ask and things that you should do there. And then the other thing is when you're telling your story, one of the issues one of the things I did poorly was I was telling military stories. And I was giving so much background so they would understand what was going on. And, we were on DRF. The DRF is the deployment ready force. And they went on for like 10 minutes describing what that was and everything you had to do and all that before I even got to the story of what I did, right? Like, it doesn't matter. Just skip all that and go straight to the task at hand. Here was the task. And you don't have to give a whole lot of military jargon or whatever. But you're going to give, when you're giving your answer to that behavioral question, go straight to the task and shorten it up. Longer, more winded answers, they're not necessarily your friend. It doesn't make it stronger. You want to get to your point a lot faster, and get to, your successes and what it was that you did well. Smile, don't use curse words, and okay with,
even if they do.
I would not, even if they do.
Even if they, so like, okay. So even if they, and I'm just saying, because, there's some, you got somebody in there and he's cussing like freaking like crazy, or he drops a couple F-bombs. You just sit there and go, ha, ha, right, or something. No, good one, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. That just happened to me a couple days ago. I went to lunch with one of the directors out here for this company that I work with, and we got in the car, and he's like, "Oh, this fucking traffic," and I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, traffic does suck," but I did not do it, okay, because
so what do you
in the future. In the potential, so I just censored myself, and I let him do what, and I let him go, right? Like, you want to be, to me, it's like, okay, he feels comfortable around me. That's great, but I'm not going to meet his comfort level because he may not be ready for me to be pals with him yet, right? So he may feel comfortable enough to talk to me that way, but I'm not gonna meet him there.
So you bring up that the scenario. You ask them what problems they have, and that's good. And then they start asking you some other questions about yourself. What about yourself that you say about? Tell us what you'd like to do on your hobbies, or you know what I mean? What's the go no go sayings? What's the fucking green amber red lights and shit? Because here's
a safe one with that is just always say that you love spending time with your family. And you make them your priority. All right. So, and if you're single, then it's spending time with my friends and building those relationships, and just get off of that topic.
So running a brothel, running a brothel, and go eating some hoes and shit, and isn't a good thing.
You don't need to tell them what you do with your friends.
Right, exactly. So
my relationships with my friends and family are really important to me, and so I do as much as possible to build and foster those relationships. And most of my time off work is spent with people I care about.
And would that?
That's it.
But was that? Does some places mean okay, this motherfucker doesn't want to work? You know what I mean? Do they say something like
fuck that guy, dude? If that's how that person feels, you don't want to work for them.
No. That's what I'm saying. But does that point? Well, I mean, because there's some guys right now that think right now that in the military that's what they're driven to. That this.
Right.
Remember now we're changing behaviors and conditions. So these guys are going to come in going, oh, I'm out the mission. Oh, I'm here to make sure you guys are squared away. You guys just told me what you needed, and I'm here to save the day. So what do you like? What do you like to do in your spare time? Fucking save your company. You know what I mean? So, because you don't want to have the appearance that you don't want to work, or you don't want to put in any hours. You know what I mean? That's the. Is there a line? Is there a fine line that you do or do not want to say? I mean,
you know what? I don't want to. Here's the thing: the civilian world, just like the military, will take from you whatever you give it. Okay, so if you're going to be the guy who gets there at 4 a.m. and doesn't leave till 8 p.m., they're going to take that from you. They will accept that gift. Personally, I don't give it.
Yeah, so you're just so saying that. Oh, I like to spend time with my family and blah 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 blah, and that would be good enough to be like a warning. Hey, motherfucker, I'm not going to work all fucking night for you for free or something.
No,
like
and I've been clear with bosses that I've gotten that they love to stay late and stuff, and I've actually been clear with them and say, look, I like to leave at 4 o'clock in the because I want to be there when my kids get off the bus.
Right.
So I will get here at 4 a.m. if something needs to happen. I really don't like working past 4 p.m. All right. That's just how I feel. And when I'm here, I will give you 100% of effort. But as I mentioned before, my family is most important. The only reason I'm here is so that I can be there with them. And so I'm not going to sacrifice that time on someone else. And so, that's just kind of but you can only get away with that when you're actually performing. Okay. So if you're a shitbag, that's not going to be okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, is there some illegal legality questions too, that they can't ask you?
Yeah, there's, they can't ask you how old you are.
That's right. Motherfuckers. Don't be hating on age.
Yeah. They can't ask you how old you are. If you're a female, they can't ask you if you're pregnant or if you want to get pregnant. There's a whole range of stuff. I can't remember them now. I wasn't prepared for that question. I would have looked it up, but I usually look it up before I sit down with an interview. I look at the latest, and talk to my HR representatives. Okay, what's the law say today? On
Nothing wrong with that. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Because...
sexual orientation. You can't ask sexual orientation questions. So
how would you even go about asking that though? How would you be? So well, how would you even now? Social media. Again, if I were to have a seek employment, say I was trying to work for you and you found out that I was working at WTF Nation Radio, would I be considered a hire due to my social media antics? Is that looked upon? Do they look down at it?
So personally, I don't care. One thing, I may look you up on LinkedIn. So I may look there because I may get another job history type stuff and kind of see, how you engage with people. Make your Facebook private, so your friends can see it, but just make the rest of it private. A lot of hiring managers, I don't know. Yes. Okay. So the short answer is yes. It can affect you. But there are ways to protect yourself, and there's also ways where it may not matter, so you being on this radio program, if I still liked you as a candidate and I wanted to hire you, the only guidance I may give is hey, A, make sure that it doesn't conflict with your current job, and B, don't talk about our organization. And so that would be kind of that's how I would look at it.
So they'd be like, that's just ICE working for John Deere, but he doesn't represent John Deere, nor does he endorse John Deere, even though he's wearing a John Deere hat.
Yeah. I may not put you in a marketing role. I may not put you in a customer facing role. So, yeah.
Did you just tell somebody to go fuck themselves like last week? Shut up. I was not a marketing role. That was not a marketing role. Lou said I was cool. He said I could, like, I don't know, drive the forklift or some shit.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, you could also protect yourself if you know there's either A, you could delete some stuff, or B, you could spam great content right before you start applying for jobs, right? So if the last like 50 of your posts are all great that aren't going to make you look bad, then you may get away with it because, you know, a hiring manager isn't going to look that deep. So that's another technique, I guess I could say that.
So Facebook gets locked down, Twitter gets locked down because, you know, Twitter. We were just talking about this. Twitter is more that
10th Mountain kid.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
If there is more of anybody that is more pretentious to be talking on a platform is Twitter. You got to be careful on that motherfucker, dude. You could be. I mean, Facebook is Facebook, whatever. Someone shares your picture and like whatever, but they're just sharing a picture of you or something like that you've done, or like the main page or something like that. But on Twitter, it's an individual point-to-point person that's talking, or an organization that's talking, and if they say something, it's almost like the outrage machine of fire is bad on Twitter. I always told everybody that if Facebook is a trailer park of social media, fucking Twitter is the fucking busted urinal and toilet overflowing, and you still got to walk through it, and that's the bottom of your boot right there. That's Twitter.
It's the street in front of the bar at 2:05 a.m.
Yeah, it's the street in front of the bar at 2:05 in Baghdad. With freaking the shit stream running down the middle of it, and you have to walk across it, and you accidentally step in a shit pool. That's fucking Twitter.
Yeah.
Because people get so on their fucking high horse in that shit. I mean, I fucking went on there. Hey, what's up? Blah blah blah. Racist. You need to watch what you're fucking saying. You fucking blah. I'm like, whoa. What happened? Well, what's this? I'm just fucking, you know, just saying what's up. That looks funny. That's not funny. You can't call. You know, I mean, people just jump on your shit.
Yeah.
Like this little kid. This kid in 10th Mountain. For you guys don't know that don't follow on Twitter, this kid on tape on 10th Mountain went and talked directly to a female service member, and then said, what, were you fucking raped or something like to that effect? And
were you raped at the barracks party or something?
Were you raped at the barracks party? And the next thing you know, if there was not an outrage fire that I've ever seen one. To remember,
and the 10th Mountain Twitter account says we're on it.
Yeah, the 10th Mountain Twitter account is on it. Members of the Senate Arms Committee on Sexual Assault is on it. This fucking poor private's mom got fucking tagged in there. So I'm just like, bro, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the simple, hey, bro, delete that tweet and say you're sorry or some shit like that. But it went full fucking circle how this kid, I mean, to the point where he's kind of like not saying anything different than what you see on Twitter already. I mean, you kind of see somebody saying, this place sucks, or this place is fucked up, or this place is this and this. Everyone throws a chuckle and then throws their snark and cynicism in it. And then the next thing you know, this kid says, were you raped at the barracks party? And the next thing you know, it was fucking losing their shit.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you probably shouldn't say that anyway.
Well, right. You shouldn't say that, but
rape jokes aren't necessarily funny.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. But the point being is that of some of the where do you draw the parallel of outrage when it comes to that subject or another subject or another subject? Again, I'm not making comparisons or not demeaning either. Like you said, I'm not making demeaning either way. But I'm just like, oh man, dude, fucking. So you're saying don't be throwing rape jokes on fucking Twitter if you're gonna be working for. If I'm giving you my fucking, if I'm giving you my resume.
But you know what? Maybe just don't do it, period. Like, this is something that's kind of been bugging me. And my interaction, this is why I've been moving so much to LinkedIn, is being a professional network. Like, I get on Facebook, I got to wade through 6 foot deep, crappy political meme bullshit that half of it isn't even true, that people are just sharing. And it's either Trump is the worst person in the world, or libtard, or Republic, whatever. Like it's just, it's too much. Like, maybe we could just censor ourselves a little bit, right? Or watch the way we communicate with each other, period. You get on this computer and all of a sudden you're bold and, you start talking shit to people. Like, if you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, maybe just don't, right? Like, just stop, just stop it, And so that's why I've just kind of moved over to mostly getting on LinkedIn. It's I've seen a lot more positive content there, and people giving actionable advice and things that you can do and make yourself better and that kind of stuff, which to me is like, okay, that to me is more fulfilling than what I'm seeing on Facebook. And then Instagram is a bunch of thirsty pics, dude or chick, you gotta, it's like, I don't even follow these things. And yet they're hitting my feed because it's a sponsored post. And, like, God damn, dude, I just want to see something funny or whatever it is. And then on Twitter, like you said, you get all of this stuff, which sometimes it's funny just to watch on the outside. Like, okay, I do like the point-to-point of Twitter that you can, you could tag Gary Sinise. He may or may not see it, but, you can go straight to that guy.
Yeah, you
so
go
that's
straight to
cool.
him. You go, yeah, exactly, go straight to him. Okay, so then I think the thing is that, okay, so we got through that. They've all laughed at your fucking memes, and then you're done. And then they ask you, what's the next one? What is that? Is that where you kind of like ask for pay? When do you ask for pay? Like, hey, what's the, what are we fitting to do here? What is the reasonable? I mean, it should say already when you applied what the salary was going to be, and it's the salary negotiable up to whatever. How do you finagle the salary thing? How do you handle that?
Yeah. So with that question, so this is on both sides. One, if you're an employer, just put the friggin' salary range on a job ad. I don't know why people aren't doing this, but I understand the arguments, but the reason that employers don't do it is because they want to pay people as little as possible. Okay. Just to be honest, that's why employers don't do it. But you could still do that and then just tell somebody, hey, I'm talking to people that are posting job ads right now. You can put a range on there and then say commensurate on education and experience. And then when you get a candidate and they saw that the range was, 60 to 90K, and then you offer them 65 and they're like, hey, I thought I went all the way to 90K. You're like, yeah, but you don't have a degree in this and that. So, or you've only got 3 years of experience. So based on your degree levels and experiences and whatever it is, so that this is why you're here in this range, or, whatever it is. I don't know. As a candidate, so how do you answer that question? One, you don't want to give a number. Personally, I don't think it's a great negotiating tactic to be the first guy to give a number. This is another way the recruiter helps, right? Because if you have a recruiter, you can tell them, hey, I want to make $75,000 a year. You could specifically tell the recruiter that. And that guy understands the marketplace and understands your value, because we each have a value of what we're worth. And he'll either tell you, okay, that's reasonable, or, hey, you need to lower your expectations a little bit. I could probably get you in at 68. Now, that recruiter is going to come in and he's going to talk to the hiring manager. The hiring manager is going to give a recruiter a job range and be like, oh, the range on this is 60 to 75. Like, okay, I got a candidate for you. He's right in the middle of that range. So that's a great reason to have the recruiter. Now, if they're asking you personally, it depends on where you are in the hiring process. If it's in the very beginning, that initial call where you haven't even really had an interview and they just want to gauge, then you can say something like, at this point, to me, the things that are important are the values of an organization, the people that I get to work with, the benefits that are afforded, and also the pay. So I don't have enough information about your company right now to really tell you what the range is, because there's a lot of other things that go into play in deciding, what range I'd be willing to accept. So maybe later on in the process I can. Then at the end, there's a point where they got to make an offer. And so at that point, when they're making the offer, that's when you can have it. When they tell you, we want you for the job. So at this point, they've committed to, we want you for the job. Then you go in and you should have a better idea of what you want to make at that point. And then you can go in and say the number, and it's okay to negotiate. Okay. By the way, your best time to get a raise is when you're being offered a job. Okay. Because they'll come in and they'll give you a number and they'll negotiate with you $3, $4, $5 an hour. But then once you get the job, you realize, like, oh crap, I'm only getting $1 an hour a year. So if you negotiated it in up front, and sometimes maybe they don't want to move on the salary, but they'll move on the benefits. So I was interviewing with a company and they said, we want to offer you, I can't remember what it was. It was like, he started with like 75 and I was like, dude, I'm making 95 right now. And then, so we went back and forth and I was like, okay, how about this? How about I get 18 vacation days a year? And then it was like, okay, well, we can do that. Right. So there's other things that you can negotiate as well. or maybe you can negotiate in a hiring bonus to make it up, in the first year or something like that. But do negotiate. Like their first offer is not their best offer generally. What they're going to offer you is they're going to make an expectation of what I think this guy's will accept. What he's worth may be 15 to 20% above that. And so you can negotiate up. Whatever they offer you the first time, don't just say yes, try and push it up the first time. And then go. It's okay to go back and forth. They've already made a decision they want you. Okay. At this point, they've gone through their candidates. They said this is the best guy. So you can have that discussion and go a little bit back and forth and figure out, what works. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid not to do that.
That's a little bit back and forth, but when do you stop? When does all right, dude, you're pushing your fucking luck. We're not going to hire you now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you stop at the level that you'll accept.
Right.
If today somebody came and offered, they started negotiation at $40,000 a year and tell them, look, we're too far apart. We're never going to be close. You're too far apart. I appreciate, I wish you would have posted the salary sooner and we could have saved each other some time. But that's kind of, if they're, it's the point that you will accept when you hear a number that you're like, I can work for that. That's when you stop. And if they won't get to what you can live off of or what you're willing to. Now, again, this is why a recruiter is important, because he's going to tell you what you're worth. So you may get out of the military as an E6 with a bachelor's degree and think you're worth $65,000 a year. You're going to be very disappointed when you realize that you may think you're worth $85,000 in this, starting for that level guy is like 60 grand, and you're like, oh shit, that's 25 grand. Well, I'm worth 85. And then you won't move from that number. Or I want to make six figures when I get out, and you won't move from that number. You won't move from that number. You won't get a job. Right. So that recruiter is going to be honest with you, and you should listen to that dude's advice when he tells you this is what you're worth. You're going to be somewhere in this band. Is that okay? You got to figure out, okay, that's going to have to be okay. I'm going to have to figure out how to make it that point. And then you can have a discussion about promotion opportunities and that once you get into the job to meet where you want to be.
Now, the negotiation of the benefits, what is the standard push? Like, what's the standard package? What's the standard, where do you go back and forth on that? Because what do you have to consider as a veteran now that you're not getting anymore, that you're not considering? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, because I know there's some individuals that think, okay, well, I want to get full benefits, and then next thing you know, what's a copay? You know what I mean?
Yeah. HSA what?
Yeah,
what's a deductible?
Yeah, what's a deductible?
$6,000 deductible?
Yeah.
Wait, a $4,000 deductible, but $6,000 max out of pocket. What's that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So what's the rollout package on that normally?
So first off, you're not going to be able to negotiate the healthcare generally. A company may give you 2 or 3 options. You got to pick one. So they're not going to be in a position to negotiate the type of healthcare that you get. So that one's really off the table. The one that's really an opportunity for you is your vacation days. That's the one that's really that you can play. And in both cases, I negotiated my vacation. So the first job I got out of the military. So when you start with a company, so let's say you graduate from college and you go work for John Deere, they're going to offer you like 7 vacation days a year. And then the second year you get an 8th. And then the next year you get 9, and the next year you get 10, and it kind of goes up like that. And then, then it's every 2 years or whatever it is, right? So you go out and you say, look, I've been in the workplace 7 years. I'd like to start at where you are at 7 years, as if I had been working for you for 7 years. So instead of starting with 7 vacation days, I'd like to start with 14.
And when will you be allowed to take them? You know what I mean? That was the what you. I mean, it's not because in the Army you get leave. You get a couple days. You can take a vacation day or you can take a leave day as you accrue them. So what would be the standard for that to take them?
Yeah. So some companies you have to accrue them. Some companies will give them to you right off the bat. So that's another question you should ask: is how do you accrue vacation days? Great point. So you should ask that question: how do you accrue vacation days? Because if it's the number of hours worked, then maybe you want to negotiate starting with a certain number of vacation days. They may not give you the full, right? So if you accrue every paycheck, half a day or something like that, you may say, okay, I want to start with 5 days. And they have some flexibility with that. they may or may not go for that, but that's one. But some companies, they will give you those days as the day you start. So you start with that many days. Now they may put a limit on how many you can use in the first, like they may say, okay, you're going to start with 17, but you can't take your first one until day 90 or day 30 or something like that. So I've seen that as well, where you may have vacation, you have it accrued, but you can't use it until a certain point.
Correct.
That's not really up for negotiation either. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they won't. Some companies will say maybe or maybe not or whatever. What's the soonest you can take it or whatever? Because they're gonna think you're trying to skate out after you get hired. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you think when if you're coming out and you're retiring, if you tell them, hey, I got TRICARE for life and you don't have to worry about that. Can you kick in some extra money? Can you, in other words, for guys that are retiring and they're getting out and they're getting ready to get out and they already have their disability and they already have their retirement check and they have TRICARE, can they negotiate a higher salary because all you're basically, to them, it's just extra money? How do you handle that?
Maybe. Okay. And the reason is, depending on how the company's budget is allocated. So as a hiring manager, we call it P&L, profit and loss responsibility. So I'll have the responsibility for, your pay is going to be, and your benefits too, are going to be part of my direct expenses. The thing is the dollar per hour goes into my cost of producing a product, a cost of a sale. So if you're making a higher salary, my cost goes down. So my profit or my expenses are higher if you've got a higher salary. Because the cost to produce that product, this is the way the budget is broken down.
Gotcha.
So it's just a matter of how you are evaluated, and then also what your HR, because the company may have to put in a certain amount regardless if you are getting paid or not on which healthcare. So they may have to, for their insurance purposes, if they got 2,000 employees, it costs them this much. And it's just on a head count basis.
I gotcha. So it's just this is what we're allocating to, and this is the cut for it, and that's it. That's the cost already going into it, basically.
Right. So I got to pay for you regardless if you're on the program or not, or which program you're in. I have to allocate a certain amount. A smaller company may have more flexibility in that regard than a bigger company. Okay. So the bigger you get, the more the bureaucratic nightmare is, and it's a lot harder to negotiate that way.
Gotcha. So you're basically
saying... The other thing is, if you have a family, are they covered if you're retired? Is your family covered?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what TRICARE for life is. Yeah, you could the same thing. Yeah, you could get the same fucking way to do it that way.
Okay.
Because the way that they're pushing that in SFL is that you're already going to get that. You're already over 20, so you're already going to get that already. So
yeah.
So that they're gonna put that in there at a cost. But I was just curious because that would be to a company almost like, oh well, you're going to be then you're like a less of a liability. All we gotta do is just pay you. We don't have to worry about freaking. Oh, wait. All we gotta do is just pay you, give you some time off, and you don't have to fucking worry about medical. We don't have to worry about medical.
Yeah.
I would think that would be more of a selling point as a military retiree. Or a veteran in that aspect, you know what I mean?
And there may be people out there that are listening to this know better than me, but what I've seen is the smaller a company is, the more flexibility they have with that. The bigger they are, the less flexibility they have. They may have to, it may be a headcount type thing. So it's worth asking. The way you save money on that is by not having to pay that yourself.
Gotcha.
And so you will still benefit by not having to enroll in the healthcare personally. And so then there won't be an employer match and that kind of stuff. So, but that's really where you're going to make your money is not having to enroll yourself, not having to pay, for me, I got 3 kids. We're a family of 5. It cost me about $600 a month and my deductible is about $6,000. So that's the cost associated with healthcare. So if I had that TRICARE for life, then I would not have to worry about that money. So I'd get that to me.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So now you're done. You stand up. You say thank you very much. You've accepted that. And then what's the last thing you say? Thank man. See you. When do I start? Do you say when do I start, or you wait for their phone call? What's the
so
general,
generally in the interview,
the
you're not going to get an offer. You're not going to get an offer right after an interview most of the time.
Gotcha.
I'd say 99% of the time. What you can ask is something to the effect of where are you in the candidate selection process, and how long will it be before I hear back? And I think that's a valid question, and that's actually a good one to ask because it'll help you gauge the type of person that you're going to be working for. So if they can't answer that, that person's going to be an issue for you, because they're not organized. They don't have a plan associated, and the other thing is if they tell you, I'm going to get back with you in 2 weeks, and then they don't, they're not really valuing you as a candidate. And by the way, no company will treat you better than they treat you during the interview process. That's the best it'll ever be. That's the best they're ever going to treat you is during the interview process. If they treat you like shit during the interview, they're going to treat you worse when you're working for them. So it's a two-way selection process here when you're interviewing with somebody. So if they tell you we're going to get back to you in 2 weeks, and you're 2.5, 3 weeks later and you haven't heard back, it's a lost cause, bro. It's only going to get worse from there. Because then when you have an emergency and you need to take a day off or whatever, or they need to reimburse you for something, they're going to move slower when it comes to that. So that's a major red flag in my view.
So at the 14th day mark, you should already be looking for another job if you don't hear anything else.
You should be looking for another job the day you walk out of that interview.
I was about to say, yeah, or that, or
yeah,
that.
Yeah. No, you keep looking, you keep interviewing, you keep talking to people, and then you can use that as a negotiation.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, and I was going to say, is it good? Is it a good practice to go ahead and just say, I got 2-3 other offers right here that are saying this, or I've already interviewed for these jobs at this position at this salary. Do you want them to compete for you? Is it good for them to compete with you?
Yeah, every time I interviewed, I'd let them know the other people I was interviewing with. And sometimes they'll ask you outright, are you interviewing with anyone else? I'm like, yeah, I just interviewed yesterday with so-and-so. Tomorrow I have this. And then next week I've got another one with this company here. And that's just a FYI. If you want to take 3 weeks to make a decision, I'm probably not going to be available anymore.
Right. And it's also good. Now, here's another tactic too, with their competition.
Yeah.
If you're going for a company, at least interview with 1 or 2 other competitions, and that'll get their eyes eyes open a little bit when you come in with that potential. You come in with that fire and energy. Could you afford? I would. In my mind, that should tell them: are you willing to lose me as a potential employee to your competition? That's going to bury you if I'm there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't be shy about that. I'm in the process. I'm looking. I'm interviewing with other people. Somebody may say, well, it's going to take us about 4 weeks, maybe 5 or so. Like, okay, well, in that time, I'm probably going to I have at least 2 interviews scheduled, and I have another phone interview in that time. So I may, that's a long time. I'm just letting you know, I may not be available as a candidate anymore in a month from now. That's just, and that may be it. That may be like that's all it is. So. It's a risky move to go with something like that, but I'm not saying that you can't. I mean, you could always just say, you may not have to say. I guess I'm walking myself back on that now. I talk too fast. I may say something like, I may just let them know who else I'm interviewing with, and then just leave that there. So it's implied that if they want to wait a month or 2 months to make a decision, I may not be available anymore at that time. And that also kind of adds there's some street cred with that, some value with that. If we go back to the girl at the bar example, right? For some reason, married guys get hit on a lot more than single guys, right? You got the ring on your finger. There's that inherent value, like, oh, somebody values this guy.
Dude, man, we just talked about freaking 10th Mountain guy. You trying to get some outrage fire going?
Well, it just shows that you're a valuable candidate.
Right. No, again, you're right. You're casting that net out there. You're letting them know, hey, not only am I, I got another job. I'm going on another video tomorrow with so and so. Knowing that you've done your research on a company, that's their competition, and you say that, It's like you're competing. You're letting them know that there's another. There's another one.
Yeah,
you
don't lie about it. Don't lie about it, because some of these communities, by the way, this is another note. Don't say that unless it's true,
right?
Because a lot of these companies, they know each other, right? So like if you came to interview with me, I'm working for a Caterpillar dealer right now, and you told me you were interviewing for John Deere, I can pick up the phone real quick and call a buddy of mine and see if that's true. So if I find out that's bullshit, then you're out.
Yeah.
We're not going to start this relationship that way.
Right.
So.
That's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
so don't use that unless it's true. Now, again, this is another reason to have if you're working with a headhunter, because that guy will tell him, hey, I've got him lined up for 3 other interviews. You guys need to make a decision quick on this guy, because he's going to have an offer. He just had an interview there. They're prepared to make an offer. It's probably going to come to him tomorrow. So you guys, he's going to do that for you. You don't have to have that conversation.
So it's going to be, so it's literally that headhunter is going to be your advocate. He's going to be the guy that's
absolutely.
And so now the headhunter portion of it, is it, I mean, what do you do? I mean, how do you get it? Is it just, there's no headhunter.com or some shit like that, is there?
No.
How do you know what a headhunter, what is a headhunter? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a few companies that work exclusively with veterans. I worked with Lucas Group. They're free to you, to me. I didn't pay anything. The companies that were using them pay. So they get a portion of whatever you get hired in at. Which, by the way, is another reason why they're going to want to push your salary up, because it increases their commission. So, if you get hired in at 120 grand, if they're getting 1%, it's going to be a lot bigger than if you get hired in at 5 or 50 grand. So there's that little piece of information. But one, don't pay. Okay. As a candidate, you should never be paying for a headhunter. So if they tell you that it's going to cost you X amount of dollars, they're not going to be your advocate. All right. They only get paid if you get a job. So don't pay for that service. And then as far as companies, like I said, Loop is the one I worked with. And then there's a couple others, and I haven't looked in a while. And I think I want to say Bradley Morris. I'm not sure if that's true. And I think there's another one called Orion or something like that. But you can look that up. Google's your friend, and military headhunter. And I'm sure if you type that in, you'll get a few different results, and then you call those guys, tell them what you're looking for, and they'll work with you and start moving those things. And they ask the questions that they need to know, what your experience is. They'll look at your resume. They'll give you coaching tips. They'll give you interview tips. They'll be your advocate with the company. You tell them where you want to work. They'll tell you how much you're worth. And then also in your geographical area, that number can be different as well. If you're going to work in Iowa, your salary is going to be less than if it's New York City. You're going to make more money, but your cost of living is higher. So essentially your living standard is about set. So, I strongly believe, obviously, I'm a huge advocate for having that person on your team,
right,
and being the one to make all those communications for you. And that, I've been pushing it a lot, obviously.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Hey, bro. We have talked over. Oh, it's because me and you shooting the shit, man. I like shooting the shit with you.
Good.
Yeah. So when do I start? I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking around.
Isn't your show over in 9 minutes?
Dude, my entire segment is over. No, yeah, we went over. Dude, we normally have people coming on here for about an hour. Most radio stations only shoot the shit for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then they go, yeah, shut up, and then all right, that's so and so. All right, next we're gonna listen to so and so, and then and then they go back on. They're done. They just move the fuck out, right? And so I'm like, God, man, that's why at WTF Nation Radio we want to give our guests, we want to get the wind out of them. But bro, we could talk all fucking night, man.
Oh yeah, we should do it again.
Yeah, we did. We should definitely do it again. Once again, Fernandez from CONUS Battle Drills coming out with another book, and he's going to come out with another CONUS Battle Drills Volume 2-ish type of book. You can check him up on Twitter, and of course, go to CONUSBattleDrills.com and check out all of his stuff. Hey, man, great advice. You're more than welcome to come on anytime again to shoot the shit with any of us again. And man, and Manito, we appreciate you coming on, man.
I love it. It's my pleasure. I got a heart for this, obviously a passion for it. I feel for a lot of these guys that are getting out, they don't have a plan, and then they get themselves in that dark place. And so, the more information that we can get out that's valuable, it's going to help them prepare them for, you know, the life ahead, because you're changing a lifestyle, not just a job, and really get these guys prepped. I'm down, you know. And if anybody listening ever needs, you know, send me a message, and if you want me to look at a resume or whatever, I'm not going to charge you anything for it. So, you know, you want some advice, you have another question, send it. And, you know, I try to get to most of the messages pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm here for you guys.
All right, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. And well, you can just stay on the line, man. I'm going to go ahead and do some wrap up. Hey, don't forget, we got a show every night. You just gotta be quiet, so we can finish up and wrap it up, and because you can hang out for a little bit. Got a show every night. Yes, obviously there was some stuff going on last night. We had Minx. You know, you guys, she's a surge tech. Okay, she works in an operating room, so she's gonna be doing some stuff, and she's on call, saving a life or doing whatever, and got surgery to do in the Fort Hood area. Then guess what? She's got to do what she's got to do. So, like I said before, people at WTF Nation Radio have other lives too. However, today's Sergeant's time. Yesterday was the day off. With Friday, obviously Friday Night Freedom is chilling. Tinfoil Times is chilling right now too, while Jay Rady's on leave of absence, just chilling, taking a break too. Sunday is Team Old with Kicking with Cause and Owl. Monday's the Monday edition with Ice and Flash, and then Tuesday's back with Minx. And don't forget, you can like, share, follow on Twitter. We don't have it. Do we even? I don't even think we have an Instagram. Do we, Spanky? We don't have an Instagram. Do we even have an Instagram? Do we? We don't have an Instagram.
We do have we have an Instagram.
Oh, we do? Okay.
My puppy does Instagram things.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got Instagram. We don't have snaps, right? We don't do the snap shit yet.
Or no, we don't do the snaps.
We don't do the snaps. Okay, so we don't do snaps. So we have Twitter. We have YouTube. We have Mixer up. Thanks, Geek Squad, for getting us squared away. Facebook has what they've done. Like I said before, they did something with their servers and rerouting it, probably because of the fact that they probably lost all of our information and also got all your passwords and screenshots and messages that you sent to us. So we totally appreciate that. You can listen to us at WTFNationRadio.com. The podcast will be loaded about, I'd say maybe 30 to 45 minutes after the show. You can go on ArmyWTFMoments.com and go to the WTF Nation Radio tab. TuneIn app, you can also check us out there. And you can also check us out, like I said, if you're streaming on Xbox, you don't want to get on your computer, you can jump on Mixer, search WTF Nation Radio, and bam, you can listen to the Mixer app as well. So if it's an Xbox One sold in the world of all the billions of Xboxes out there, you can listen to WTF Nation Radio. So no fucking excuse. With that, you guys don't have anything else for me. Me, Spanking, and Lewis are out of here and shot. So y'all have a good night. We're going to listen to some Space Force and then play some dirty music probably. So anyways, y'all take it easy. Shots.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Intergalactic horse, and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll paint the moon red, white, and blue for no other reason than we want to do. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the Hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. To infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear all manly voices singing Space Force strong. The critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Space Force, Space Force. We'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
You said you'd never ever break down, but here I am sweeping pieces off of the ground. You said you'd never ever play to crowds, but I've seen you hoping to play songs to them now. I've spent all night long scared of tomorrow, broke my alarm. Everything's almost lost. Pick it up slow before it's gone.
Fragile.
Wish I'd have known.
I never thought I'd be so fragile.
You're not alone.
If it didn't break before it's about to.
We've been here before.
I don't ever want to change. I'm fragile.
Some of the people appointed to give an opinion never do get it. I want you to come on and gobble a Jimmy and die. Need to be given the remedy and why? Critics are really the enemy and I can't stand the way they slam today's gifted. Effing incredible, get fanned away with grants to pay. This gem, well, a scripted, definite impeccable. Right around, I'm gonna put everything in a flow. I'm the nine, I'm gonna look very mean when I fold. Scribe-a-line, it's never been at a show. By the time it'll be better living in the stove. Cause they wrote another my lies, quotes stuck in my eyes. Amateur writer, distant. He's a beginner in hopes for your demise. Folks, I'm a despise, never do try to listen. It's real, I'm mad. Clueless when you scribble on your pad. How you gonna criticize with a chisel on your ass, sizzle in your ass? You don't really get why I'm so pissed. Understand this. Understand this. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. Yes, I'm.
Tell me that my name is biggest Venus, stupid during the Uranus. Tell me that your anus got your head in it. I can smell the articles and know you're heinous. Tell me that you love me, always thinking of me. Unconditional, I'm hoping I'm your favorite. Grab a fishing pole and throw me with a shark. That's the feeling I get when you're concentrating on this pen, on this pad. Tell me you willing to this, own my craft. Tell me the feeling I'm picking apart this track. Putting my heart and my soul in these lines, telling me platinum and gold all the time. Looking to bury a deep hole for mine. This is more than you and this is more than you and your entire building. Slander and abusing what I call a real is coming from a student. Told myself to use a poem as a Uzi. Empty magazine, I seen a magazine. You see my trigger finger, then I started shooting. That was nicotine, I'm about to smoke them all and turn and listen for all you should've known my music.
We're shouting now.
I never thought I'd be so fragile.
You're not alone.
It didn't break before it's about to.
We've been here before.
I never want to change. I'm fragile.
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.